to rest the disappointments of recent playoff setbacks. Of course, the Jets put themselves in this position with a Game 5 victory on Wednesday night at home in what was probably their best game of the series in the most timely of circumstances. But ending this series tonight won't be easy for Winnipeg, as the Blues have won 14 straight home games and have given the Jets everything they can handle for over a week. And Mitchell Clinton, the Jets will be heading home after this game tonight for sure. But whether it's to host the Blues in Game 7 on Sunday or to move on to the second round of the playoffs is yet to be determined.
That's right, Paul. And given the physical nature of this series so far, we know which one of those scenarios the Winnipeg Jets would prefer. If they want to come out on the right side of things tonight at Enterprise Center, they'll need to play their best road game of the postseason. St. Louis will be desperate to keep their season alive, and nothing short of Winnipeg's detailed, structured, and inspired performance from Game 5 will get the job done. Yes, Winnipeg will have to find a way without their number one center, but all season they've talked about the next man up mentality. This will be their toughest test, but passing those tests are what the playoffs are all about.
It's the Jets and the St. Louis Blues, Game 6, and it's coming up next. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
Lowry moving in, shoot.
Jets fans, it's your chance to win big all night long with our playoff 50-50 raffle. Get your tickets now for a shot at multiple cash prizes during the game, ranging from $1,000 to $25,000. Plus, one lucky winner will take home 50% of the total sales at the end of the series. Don't miss out. Text JETS to 20450 for your chance to win. That's JETS to 20450.
Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
We can barely hear it here. I think we're back. Nikolai Ehlers is in the lineup tonight.
That he is. An exciting time for the Winnipeg Jets to have the speedy Dane back in the lineup. And, Scott O'Neill, you could kind of see on his face this morning after the morning skate how genuine he was when he said this potential return came quicker than they expected. And obviously, it couldn't have come at a better time for the Winnipeg Jets with Mark Scheifele not on the trip. So for Nikolai Ehlers to come in, it's like you had the disappointment of Mark Scheifele not being here, but you had the boost that comes from getting Nikolai Ehlers back in there. Gives you another offensive weapon with Mark Scheifele out of the lineup.
While there will be urgency from the Blues tonight, there will be a mission from the Winnipeg Jets, and the mission will be to end the Blues season. The urgency will come from the Blues to extend the season to Sunday in Winnipeg. By the way, if there is a Game 7, it will be at 6 o'clock Central Time in downtown Winnipeg. We'll see what happens here tonight. No reason to think that this game will look any different than most of the pieces of all the previous 5 games. Both teams want to have a good start. It's been physical. I don't look for that to change. Winnipeg did like their 5-on-5 game, certainly on Wednesday. And you would like to think that maybe with Velarde in the lineup and Nikolai Ehlers returning now, and I know Mark Scheifele's not in, but a power play goal perhaps beckons from that number 1 unit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that power play personnel has kind of been back and forth and all over the map, especially over the last month of the regular season with all the injuries that Winnipeg was dealing with. So obviously tonight, still not quite at the personnel that we saw at the start of the season, but you think about some of the times in the games where Winnipeg's had their limited power play opportunities and how big a power play goal could be. You know, Nikolai Ehlers in the morning skate was on that strong side, that left circle where he can come downhill with either a one-timer or a wrist shot. He loves to have those looks. I assume Winnipeg will try to give him a couple of those tonight.
Well, Winnipeg talked about going goal line to goal line, and they certainly did that. A much better job of it on Wednesday night. They got to the goal line of the St. Louis Blues, and they defended their own goal line much better. It was one of the reasons why they had a 2-goal victory on Wednesday night, 5-3 over the Blues, and they're in this situation where they can end the series here this evening. And it's been a home game series for the home team for sure, as Winnipeg 3-0 at home, and the Blues are 2-0 in this series at home. I'm just thinking back to 18-19 when the Jets lost both games at home, won both games in St. Louis, then went home and lost, and then came to St. Louis and lost. I wonder if the Winnipeg Jets can return the favor by winning 2 straight here these years later to end this series tonight. Let's go downstairs for O Canada and the Star-Spangled Banner tonight, performed once again by the same individual.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red-glare, the bombs bursting in a gay proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was Pershard Owens singing the anthems once again for the 3rd game in this series here in St. Louis. Our referees tonight are Jean Hebert and Peter McDougall. On the lines, Matt McPherson and Julian Fournier. Let's have a look at the starting lineups. They're brought to you by Windeck. Do it once, do it right. Visit windeck.ca to do that. Here's Mitchell.
Thank you, Paul. For the St. Louis Blues, it's Jordan Binnington who stopped 21 of 25 shots in game number 5. On the blue line, Philip Broberg and Justin Falk. And up front, once again, Alexei Toropchenko, Radek Faksa, and Nathan Walker. For the Winnipeg Jets, it's Connor Hellebuck, 16 saves on 19 shots in game number 5. Logan Stanley and Luke Shen on the blue line. And up front, Nino Niederreiter, Morgan Barron, and Mason Appleton.
First period opening faceoff is brought to you by Cambrian Credit Union. Looking for a mortgage? Get peace of mind and flexibility with the new best of both worlds mortgage. Visit Cambrian.mb.ca. Teams will come to center ice to get it started. Puck is dropped, and it's showtime from St. Louis, Missouri. Game number 6 is underway, and Niederreiter fires the puck right into the Blues bench. Just 5 seconds in. And we'll do it all over again. Hellebuck down to our right. Jets are in white. Bennington down to our left. Blues are in blue. Neutralized face-off on the far side wall. Morgan Barron will take that draw. Winnipeg looking for a fast start again. They've scored the opening goal 3 times in this series. The record in it when scoring and opening the scoring is 2-1. They'll put the puck down inside that Blues end. Into where the corner they will go to work. To the near side here, Barron now again for Niederreiter. He'll play it down low for Appleton. Spins it around back to where the line for Stanley. His shot goes wide. Rebound gathered up again by Niederreiter. Back to where the line here for Shen. Luke Shen will shoot it around to the near side. Crawling in along the boards here to hold the line is Stanley. He digs it off the wall. Pushed against the boards. Winnipeg rims it around on the far side again. Luke Shen with a shot from the point. That drifted wide. Kept in by Stanley on the near side. Rimmed around again on the far side. And Walker will get it out towards center ice. And he just got smashed over on the far side by Logan Stanley. And Stanley's a little slow to get up. He might have banged something there and got back up and stumbled his way back to where the bench. Winnipeg will dump it right back in. Lowry after the puck onto the far side. Works his way into where the corner. Sends it around to the near side. Perfetti. Perfetti back to where the line for Morrissey. D-to-D for DeMello. Shoots through traffic. That's stopped in front. Gobbled up again by Ehlers. Back to where the line. Morrissey shooting. Stopped in front. Rebound. Bang back toward the net on the far side by Ehlers. Stopped by Bennington. And the puck is ejected all the way down the ice. Icing will be the call against the St. Louis Blues. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by Winnipeg Clinic, Wallace & Wallace Fences, and the Dairy Farmers of Manitoba.
Oh, exactly the start you're looking for from the Winnipeg Jets. A lot of offensive zone time, which is obviously the first kind of marker that you're looking for, and not trying to overcomplicate things, rimming the puck around to the weak side whenever they don't really have much of an option. And how about Nikolai Ehlers on that first shift, using that speed, those first 3 strides to kind of get some separation from his check and get a backhand toward the net that Bennington was just able to get across on.
Colton Parayko wheels back in behind his own net. Long lead pass on the far side. Too far for Robert Thomas. Spills back inside the Winnipeg end. Jets will go back after it. That was nullified off a stick, so icing washed out. They steal the puck to the Blues inside the Winnipeg end. Kyrou will dart into where the corner. Roll it back in behind the net. There first is DeMello. He'll settle that down and play it back to the near side for Morrissey. Up along the boards and into where the middle. Ticked off a skate. Scurrying there on the far side is Braden Shen. He gets pushed against the boards by Nemestikov, who dug it off the wall and flipped it right back to his goaltender in Hellebuck, who then shoots that to the side. Winnipeg will rim it around here in Sandburg and out towards center ice and will go. We played a couple of minutes. 2 minutes and 5 seconds have expired. Winnipeg will steal the puck on the far side. I follow time for this fourth line to go to work. Tony Nato after the puck on the far side. For Tanev into where the corner. Hurling around, rolled it back to the near side. Tony Nato will scamper back after it again. Dominic Tony Nato back toward the line. Far side Pionk, wristed toward the net, that went wide. Gobbled up to the near side here. Shen, he'll take a body check. Winnipeg will keep it in. High slot Tanev. Fan on a pass attempt. Back in behind the D to Tony Nato, and the puck will squirt back out towards center ice, and Winnipeg will fire it right back in. Here they come again, and Niederreiter. Niederreiter will punch it back into where the corner. Joseph goes after it, plays it around to the near side. It's sprung off the boards and out towards center ice, and will go with a good chance there by Shen. Far side now for Joseph, trying to go wide. Pushed against the boards by Luke Shen. Pounded there, in fact. The puck is picked up and retrieved there by Appleton. Out towards center ice, and he'll shoot it down inside that Blues end and head off on a line change.
Good work on rush defense by the Winnipeg Jets there, even though Luke Shen ultimately ends up winning that one-on-one.
Dancing inside that Winnipeg, and Toropchenko will backhand it into where the corner. The Jets will go after it, try to flush it off the boards. They do. They tap it off the boards, and out towards center ice it goes. Suter with the puck at 40 years old now, after the retirement of Marc-Andre Fleury last night, as his series and playoffs and career came to an end. Now the longest serving and the oldest active player is Ryan Suter in this game. And in the National Hockey League right now at 40 years old. Sent back into where the corner on the far side. Dug off the wall there by Faxa. Played into where the middle. Skipping through the neutral ice. Here come the Blues. And across the line. Toropchenko into where the slot. A good active stick there by Nikolai Ehlers. And that flies off a stick and into the Jets bench and out of play. So just to get that out a little more clearly, Ryan Suter is the oldest active player in the National Hockey League. I wrote it down. I didn't read it.
And actually, I was looking online today, and there's that iconic 2003 draft photo where all the draft picks are sitting on like a set of stairs or something. And with Marc-Andre Fleury's season coming to an end with the Minnesota Wild and his pending retirement, Ryan Suter's the only one left in that top prospect photo. So it was it's quite something to look back and see all the baggy dress shirts and whatnot from the early 2000s.
Dion Phaneuf was in there. Ryan Getzlaf was in there, I believe. It was an interesting picture. I saw that one as well. Winnipeg will chaperone the puck. No score in this hockey game. Through that neutralized, Sandberg moves in, whipped it toward the net, and that went high and wide. Gathered up on the far side by Pionk. Back to the near side here for Sandberg. Left side point. Sandberg will shoot it with some traffic in front. Bounced off the shin pad of Velarde into where the corner it goes. Up along the boards to the near side. Pulled off the wall by Buchnevich out towards center ice. Winnipeg with a good start here, we can say that. And it's nudged back in from center ice by Nemestikov. And Winnipeg will peel off for a line change. 15 and a half remaining in the opening period. No score. Out towards center ice. Here they come again. Blues and across the line. Into where the corner it goes. Sent back toward the line. Carried in offside. We'll get a stoppage of play. By the way, glad to have you along wherever you're tuning in from. On your radio home of the Winnipeg Jets. Power 97, 680 CJOB. How do you folks tuning in on satellite radio and on the NHL app across North America and worldwide?
Scott Arniel was very complimentary of the Winnipeg Jets defense in game number 5 and their ability to sift shots through. We've already seen a couple of attempts in this one, and Gabriel Velarde going for a deflection. It just kind of deflected the wrong way, didn't quite make its way to the net.
Winnipeg back with the retrieve inside their own zone. Hard rimmer on the boards, and Suter will stop that on the far side. Taken off his stick by Iafolo there to help out as Kyrou pushed against the boards by DeMello. Tony Nato is there now to the near side for Morrissey. Takes the body check, chopped out toward the line there by Tana Bonato. Kept in by Neighbors. Neighbors into where the corner, trying to get it back toward the line. Winnipeg will intercept that, pushed against the boards. Kyrou, Winnipeg up along the boards here, and Iafolo will float it back out towards center ice. Tony Nato goes after, ties up his man. Winnipeg will get a line change here. 14:45 remaining in the opening period. No score. Suter, dead stop in front of his own net to the near side for Joseph. Joseph taking off the puck, and now Appleton will push it back inside his own zone for Barron. Barron at center ice, squeezed off the puck of the Blues line. Bolduc in front of his own net, swings away from a check, backhands it ahead for Joseph. It hopped over his stick and bounced back inside that Winnipeg end. Quickly to it, Luke Shan rolled it around to the far side. Winnipeg will plunger it back out towards center ice. Picked up there by Niederreiter and brushed back inside that Blues end. Folk will pick it up and play to the far side for Broberg. He will get it down inside the Winnipeg end. Banked off the boards again by Barron and out towards center ice it goes.
That's really nice by Luke Shen just outside the blue line, preventing his own entry.
Back across the line. Justin Falk will backhand it back in behind the net. Picked up there by Snuggerud out in front. Broberg shoots and scores. A knuckle puck for Philip Broberg. His first point of this series. And St. Louis opens up the scoring. It's 1-0 for the Blues.
And Connor Hellebuck was feeling like he was interfered with, but I believe what the officials are saying is that the St. Louis Blue was knocked into Connor Hellebuck by Dylan Sandberg. That would be why there's likely not going to be any goaltender interference on this. We'll see what happens. This is the first shot of the game for the St. Louis Blues. But obviously Connor Hellebuck was involved in some contact right as that shot was coming. He had no chance to make that save because of the contact. It's just the officials are ruling that contact was because Dylan Sandberg knocked the member of the St. Louis Blues into Hellebuck.
So Broberg will get the goal. It'll be his first of this series. Comes at 6:05 and the time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. And now I think they're going to have a look at it.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
Timeout called by the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, I believe it's just to get a little bit more of a look on this one. Just to make sure that they don't want to challenge it. Just trying to take a little bit more time. We've seen a little bit more of this, especially as the second half of the regular season went on into the postseason. You'll see coaches use their timeout to try to get a little bit of a different look. Usually it's a bit later in the game, but obviously in an important game like this, you want to take every opportunity.
Well, the Blues think it's a good goal. They'll line it up at center ice. Yeah, interesting. Broberg did not get great wood on it. Kind of heeled it off the stick. and it floated past Connor Hellebuck. So the teams will come out of timeout, or at least the Jets will. And they burn their timeout in this first period. And the Blues lead at 1-0 on a goal by Philip Broberg. And down inside that Blues end, Walker out towards center ice for Toropchenko. He'll shoot it down inside that Winnipeg end and go after the puck again. Rolled around to the far side. Perfetti will try to dig it off the wall. Perfetti tried to nudge it out and did. It's crossed over the line again and brought back in offside by Broberg. We'll get a stoppage of play. 13:32 remaining in this opening period. The score is St. Louis 1, Winnipeg 0. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
The Start.
One of my nephew's birthdays, we wanted a nice crisp $50 bill to give him. Who doesn't like a red one, as my kids used to say when they were, Dad, it's a red one.
Red ones are nice. Brown ones are even better.
The Start. Weekday mornings 6 to 10.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Brett.
At Mid-Canada Fasteners, we try to be your one-stop shop for all of your construction needs.
We have a large inventory of threaded rod, strut and strut fittings, as well as construction-rated ladders and sawhorses, janitorial supplies, rigging supplies, and personal safety equipment.
So come by and see what we have to offer. Shop where the professional tradespeople shop. You're always welcome here at Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, 1557 King Edward Street.
It's Jacuzzi Manitoba's 25th anniversary. 25% off jacuzzi hot tubs and swim spas. Get a 4-person jacuzzi hot tub for just $69.90. Or a 7-person jacuzzi hot tub loaded with jets and LED lights for just $10,990. And swim spas starting under $27,000. Plus 25% off in-stock massage chairs and saunas. And 0% financing is available. Over 100 hot tubs in stock and on sale right now at Jacuzzi Manitoba, 1580 St. Mary's Road or 411 Madison Street.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Philip Broberg from Robert Thomas and Jimmy Snuggerud at 6:05, 1-0 for the Blues. We're going to neutralize face-off. Jets have burned their timeout already. 13:32 remaining in this first period. They did so trying to ascertain whether there was an infraction on that goal for goaltender interference. They did not challenge it, so play continues, and Winnipeg is down by a goal. And puck is flipped with a backhand by DeMello along the boards, up into the glass, into the meshing behind his own net. It goes out of play, and now the officials are going to get together. And they'll do that away from all of the players, over by the penalty box area, down in front of us.
Well, I'm about 99% sure what I saw, and that puck was circling the glass. So I'm not sure how that, unless everybody missed it. I mean, it's not like it's a whiteout here where you're able to clearly see the puck. I cannot believe this.
Number 2, 2-minute minor, delay game.
So Dylan DeMello for delay of game. And it puts St. Louis on the power play for the first time tonight. So I have to admit to you, partner, I like Winnipeg's start, and then they give up a knuckle puck, and then a controversial delay of game call, and here we are, 1-0 Blues, with a chance for St. Louis to go up by more.
Yeah, obviously a big moment kind of in the game here, because like you said, Winnipeg's had a really good start, spent a lot of time in the offensive zone, had the great Ehlers chance, and now had a couple of things kind of go against them here.
And the Blues win the draw, but it splits the D at the Jets line and slides all the way back down inside that St. Louis end. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by South Beach Casino, Boston Pizza, and Chamber Insurance. And the Blues down inside the Winnipeg end. Back toward the line. They set it up into the corner. Thomas back into the slot for Bolduc. He reached for it. It went off the end of the stick and out towards center ice. Snuggerud will shoot it right back in. Off the boards. There is Schenn trying to get it out. Shot was blocked, but it tumbled around to the near side now for Sandberg. And he will catapult it all the way down the ice. Fans are on Connor Hellebuck here. 12:45 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 for St. Louis. They give up the puck, and Tanev at center ice will drive it right back inside that St. Louis end and kill off some more time.
Yeah, Tanev just sitting in the back pocket of Fowler there, waiting for him to try that bump back pass, and he picked it off.
Thomas now through that neutral ice will drop it to the line for Kyrou. Back for Thomas into where the corner. High slot, Snuggerud, curl and drag, shoots. And it's stopped by Hellebuck, and he'll glove that down and hang on for a whistle. 12:20 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 for St. Louis. 57 seconds still to go in the penalty to Dylan DeMello.
And that's exactly the type of stop you want to see from Connor Hellebuck there. The first one, like we mentioned, not really any opportunity for him because of the contact. So he wasn't able to be in position for that Broberg knuckle puck, but that one hits him square in the chest. Good positional save.
Blues with a draw at the line. Falk, far side Kyrou, into where the slot for Braden Shen. Back to where the line for Falk. Falk will survey. Falk drifts toward the near side wall. Casts it into where the corner for Shen. Shen stick handling to the near side for Jake Neighbors. Neighbors still on the boards here at the hash marks. Down low for Shen. Shen and Neighbors will switch spots. And then it's dropped into where the corner for Neighbors. Back toward the line for Falk. Falk walks off the boards to the near side. Top of the circle now for Shen onto the far side. Controlled there and a good stick by Lowry. Tried to dig it away and did. Got it back toward the line. It's held though by Falk. Controlled again on the far side. Falk takes a pass up top. Falk shoots and it's off a stick and just wide of Sundquist. Grabbed again by Luke Shen. He spins it around by Kyrou, who controlled it over the far side. And it bounces all the way back down inside that Blues end. 5 seconds to go on the penalty to Dylan DeMello.
That's good battle by Adam Lowry and Luke Shen on that far side of the ice.
Winnipeg will knock it away at center ice. They sprint back after it, but a good play made by Falk to send it back inside the Winnipeg end. Stanley with a puck up along the boards now for Connor. Connor off the boards, but not out. It stays inside the Winnipeg end. Connor now hooks off the boards inside his own zone. He will speed through that neutral ice, try to put it inside the Blues end. Bounced off his shin pad. Following up again now is Pionk. He will send it in. Takes a rough ride as he peels off for the bench from Faxa. And it's sent out towards center ice by the Blues. And Toropchenko knocked from behind, down by Morrissey. Fans want a penalty, not going to get one. Winnipeg recovers the puck on that. DeMello into where the middle now for Connor. Redirected down inside that Blues end. Swaying away from a check here, the goal scorer in Broberg. He leads the attack out towards center ice and pumps it in from center ice. Stopped by Hellebuck. He rolled it around to the near side. That was then right onto the stick there of Bolduc. Bolduc will try to get it into where the corner. That bounced off a body. Attacking the puck back in behind the net are a couple of Blues. They go back after it, and Thomas back toward the line. Pulled off the wall by Leddy. Leddy onto the far side. Leddy in the slot was shot. That's stopped by Hellebuck. Rebound. And that is under the glove of Connor Hellebuck, and he'll hang on for a whistle. Slung toward the net. I believe it was Matthew Joseph. A couple of good chances there for the St. Louis Blues. It was Fowler that put it back into where the slot. It was Bolduc that shot the puck. 10:16 remaining in this opening period. 1-0 for St. Louis.
We've seen a couple of situations where Winnipeg, with an opportunity to get the puck out, haven't been able to do it. And it's kind of allowed St. Louis to spend a little bit more time in the offensive zone, working that puck around, forcing Connor Hellebuck to make a couple more saves. Winnipeg likely just wanted to clean up a little bit there, but obviously St. Louis, they get that opening goal, they get the power play. So obviously feeling good for them. They've kind of picked up a little bit of a step ever since the first couple of minutes where Winnipeg was kind of dominating.
So the Blues are 0 for their last 5 on the power play. The Jets have killed off 5 consecutively in this series. And they send it out towards center ice. We're going to stoppage of play. And the face-off hold all the way back down inside that Winnipeg end. 10:08 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 for the Blues on a goal by Philip Broberg. His first from Thomas and Snuggerud at 6:05.
And obviously for Winnipeg, plenty of time to go here. You're not going to see them get out of structure or try to force anything at this point. They've generated some good looks when they stay in structure.
Winnipeg will snatch the puck. Sandberg outlets it to the near side. 4-meter rider out towards center ice, and he'll dump it in. Pulled off the wall, back in behind the net there by Barron. Barron trying to get it back toward the line. That's intercepted, and now racing out of his own zone is Kyrou. Kyrou cross-ice pass. Here comes Suter, moved in, shoots, and he put it wide. He was the attacker through that slot that took that pass. Rolled around into where the corner by Winnipeg. Pulled off the wall by Appleton. Bouncing puck, and Appleton to the near side for Barron. Shepherded out towards center ice. He's hauled down by Neighbors. And there's going to be a penalty coming up to Jake Neighbors, who then tried to slash the stick out of Morgan Barron's hands to goad him into a retaliatory penalty.
63 minor penalty interference.
Not going to happen, and Winnipeg will go on the power play for the first time when we come back. 9:34 remaining in this opening period. The score, St. Louis 1, Winnipeg nothing. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97, 680 CJOB.
I'm Bruce Lowe with Ag Direct Hail Insurance. Back in 2014, we launched Ag Direct with the goal of changing the crop hail insurance industry by combining broker-free rates with superior customer service and professional claims handling. Thanks to the support of hard-working farm families, Ag Direct Hail is now one of the largest and fastest growing crop hail insurance providers on the prairies. Visit agdirecthail.com or call us toll-free. We appreciate your business.
Fighting crime and crime one drain at a time. There's a reason they call us Mr. as in Mr. Rooter. Every spring, our fair city is under attack by clogged drains and backed up sewers. When melting snow and heavy rains threaten to cause sewage and wastewater to back up into your home, only Mr. Rooter stands between your basement and total plumbing chaos. Call them today to clean your sewers and drains.
Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber. That's Mr. Rooter.
There's nothing quite like the playoffs. And there's no better way to enjoy the games in the comfort of your own home.
Top shelf, baby!
JS Furniture wants you to break away with these amazing deals. Save up to 40% off 4-model recliners and select reclining sofas, so you can watch every hit, shot, and selly. JS Furniture, serving you for over 50 years. 1725 Ellis Avenue in Winnipeg, and now open in their new location in Portage la Prairie. Visit furnitureandmore.ca.
It's like being right on the glass. Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg Jets are on the Prairie Battery Power Play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg born and Canadian owned. PrairieBattery.ca, 1-0 St. Louis. Jets are on the power play for the first time tonight. 9.5 remaining in this opening period. Velarde will take the draw against Faxa. Faxa is going to be waived. Toropchenko will come in. We do it to the left of Bennington. And it's one cleanly back toward the line for Morrissey by Velarde. Onto the far side for Cal Connor. Darts off the board, slings it toward the net, put it wide. Tumbled back toward the line, held by Morrissey, paddled off the boards to the near side for Ehlers. Rimmed around back in behind the net, intercepted there by Ryan Suter, who is the oldest active NHLer now. And he'll send it all the way down the ice. There, I got it out.
There we go. And Kyle Connor, we've seen him score from that wrist shot from that short side a few times. Love the fact that he's taken that shot.
Winnipeg will lose the puck on the line. Didn't come in with any speed, and Suter will send it all the way down once again. Under 9 minutes remaining in this opening period. Morrissey onto the far side. Back inside his own zone for Perfetti. Nice drop there for Connor onto the far side. Velarde. He sneaks his way inside the zone. Put it into where the corner for Cal Connor. Dashing around into where the corner. Put it back toward the line for Morrissey. D-to-D for Ehlers. Ehlers up top for Morrissey. Morrissey back to the near side for Ehlers. Coming downhill. Dropped it back for Morrissey. Far side. Connor shoots. Stopped by Bennington. Rebound is sent around the boards and ripped around the boards, in fact, and all the way down the ice by Broberg, the goal scorer tonight. Winnipeg will have 45 seconds remaining in their power play. That penalty to Jake Neighbors for holding. Winnipeg sashaying through that neutral ice, and Iafallo, that second power play unit is out there now. Parayko into where the corner, dug off the wall, moved ahead for Buchnevich, and he will backhand it all the way down the ice.
Yeah, and obviously with Mark Scheifele out, he plays a very big role in how Winnipeg gains zone entry. So I was intrigued to see if they made any changes, and it's kind of Cole Perfetti running in that Scheifele route.
Iafallo speeds inside the zone, stops up into where the corner. Nemestikov will put it back in behind the net now for Niederreiter. Tumbled it around to the far side for Appleton. Back toward the line. It's carried off the boards there by Pionk. Walks the line. Weak shot toward the net. Stopped in front. Backhand by Iafallo. That's off the shin pads of Suter. Into where the corner it goes. Pulled off the wall again by Niederreiter. Penalty is over. Winnipeg back toward the line, and Neighbors will intercept that. Neighbors tried to get by Neil Pionk. He's pushed off the puck. No penalty. Winnipeg a quick up, and here comes Niederreiter across the line. But there's going to be an offside call against the Jets. And we're going to stop it and play in a neutralized face-off. So Neighbors out of the penalty box. Jets are 0 for 1 with the man advantage. Both teams are scoreless with the man advantage. And the Jets are now 2 for 15 in this series on the power play.
And Neil Pionk wearing the A tonight with Mark Scheifele not in the lineup. And Jake Neighbors probably trying to make his case that he felt that Neil Pionk did exactly what Jake Neighbors just got out of the penalty box for. But I thought Neil Pionk was very much more still within that acceptable throwing a hit range, whereas Neighbors was going to lose a race and hauled down Barron.
Another stoppage of play. And another neutralized face-off. And we'll do that with 10 of touching the puck. Jet fans, get ready for the Winnipeg Whiteout with Jets gear at TrueNorthShop.com. Choose from a huge variety of apparel, headwear, novelties, and more. Need a new jersey for the Whiteout? Well, we've got you covered there, too. TrueNorthShop.com.
You can kind of feel that this game's kind of settled in. It hasn't been as run and gun as games 3 and 4 here in this building were. And obviously with the stakes tonight, there's not a whole lot of players running around trying to get themselves out of position.
Letty spins away from some traffic, backhands it from the zone blue line down inside that Winnipeg end. Hustling after it, Tony Nato now to the far side. DeMello takes a crunch from behind there by Joseph, and then he engages Joseph again into where the corner. Winnipeg waiting for some help, came back toward the line. Suter toward the net, shot is stopped by Hellebuck. Suter got it back again. Left side point up top for Letty. Winds up. Letty punched it through some traffic, but it ricocheted just before it got to Hellebuck off a skate into where the corner. Sundqvist will bang one of the Jets and Sandberg along the back wall. Winnipeg back after the puck there. Making a nice play. Knowing he was going to take a hit is DeMello. And DeMello frees up the puck back in behind the net. And the Blues will retreat outside the Winnipeg end for a line change. 6.5 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 in favor of St. Louis on your radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB. Out of the far side, Nemestikov, and across the line. Tried to tap it inside that Blues end. Over to pick it up on the near side is Parayko. He's had a strong 3 last games for St. Louis. Cross the line now on the far side. Buchnevich moves and shoots. And it's stopped by Hellebuck. Great save by Connor Hellebuck back for the line. Parayko will hold the line. He'll stuff it into where the corner on the near side. Thomas back toward the line here again for Snuggerud. Snuggerud onto the far side. Chipped into where the slot area. Broken up there by Velarde. Into where the corner. Parayko on the far side. In deep. Back toward the line for Fowler. Fowler with 9 points in this series. He put it into where the corner again. Controlled by Thomas. Thomas on the far side. Thomas swept off the puck by Velarde. Velarde knocked down, but he'll manage going down to shorten up on the hockey stick and punch it out towards center ice. And now Winnipeg will make some changes as well.
We often talk about how Gabriel Velarde wins those puck battles in the offensive zone. Well, he did one high in the defensive zone there. A big one for Winnipeg there.
Luke Schenn will shoot it in off a stick. Bounces down inside that Blues end. Rimmed around with a backhand there by Binnington. Falls out towards center ice. Snatched by Perfetti for Stanley. Up along the boards. Now Perfetti crossed over the line. Cuts toward the net. Going toward the goal. Got hooked up and off the puck he came. It stays inside the zone. Good job on the backtrack there by the captain for the Blues in Braden Schenn. Sent back around to the near side. Kyrou will take a body check and get it out towards center ice. The two captains engaged there. Lowry went down, got back up, and he pushed Braden Schenn at center ice. Schenn will push it back inside that Winnipeg end. Race for the puck. 3 Jets are there, 2 Blues are there. Fished off the wall there by Pionk, up along the boards for Ehlers, and stuffed out towards center ice. 4:35 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 St. Louis.
Ehlers was trying to look to get that puck into the middle of the ice for Adam Lowry. Just kind of rolled right off his stick.
Hellebuck just about misplayed it on a dump in. Came off his stick. The blue was there. Winnipeg will try to dispatch it out towards center ice. And they do. They knock it off the boards on the far side. Alleviate the pressure and get it back down inside that Blues end to the near side. Blues will go back after it. Winnipeg and Morrissey will stuff Paxa back against the boards. And it's sent back inside the Winnipeg end. Thrust up along the boards. And there's Appleton to steer it out towards center ice. Winnipeg banged into their own player there, and Niederreiter and Barron fans like that. Puck is grabbed now again. Now there's a penalty coming up against the Jets. To the bench for the extra attacker is Binnington with under 4 minutes remaining in this opening period. Letty for Thomas. Back into where the middle. Swiftly through the neutralizes Buchnevich. He'll snap it inside the Winnipeg end. It's touched by Pionk. And we're going to stoppage a play, and then Buchnevich finished his check on Neil Pionk. And that'll draw a crowd of Winnipeg Jets back in behind their own goal. So just when we thought things had simmered in terms of the nastiness in this game, they percolated again.
Yeah, absolutely. And no doubt Buchnevich did pull up a little bit here, but I don't think it was necessary for him to finish the hit. I don't think they're going to give offsetting minors here, but Nino Niederreiter is the one heading to the box for Winnipeg.
Niederreiter will take the penalty, and we'll get a timeout on the ice. And
62 minor penalty interference.
Interference is the call, and I wonder if that's when he bumped in with his own player and then knocked the St. Louis Blue away from play as well without the puck. 3:35 remaining in this opening period. The score, St. Louis 1, Winnipeg nothing. Back after these, you're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey. Blues with a man advantage upon our return for the second time tonight on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic, the most domestic choice.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
Tired of the mortgage rate waiting game? With Cambrian Credit Union's exclusive Best of Both Worlds mortgage, you can unweight mortgage rates. Get Cambrian's lowest fixed rate right now for a 2-year term. And choose to reset by locking into a longer term if things change. Penalty-free with no blended rates. Whether you're buying new, renewing, or even switching from another financial institution, you're in control. Apply in less than 15 minutes now at cambrian.mb.ca. Subject to credit approval, terms and conditions apply.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Losing the power play for the second time tonight, but they lose the draw, and Winnipeg will send it all the way down. Nino Niederreiter for interference. 3.5 remaining in this opening period. 1-0 for St. Louis. Power play number 2. They are 0 for 1. They try to dump it inside the Winnipeg end. Stopped there by Luke Shen. Goes to the stick now. Sandberg twists and 180s the puck all the way down the ice.
It's a good start to the PK for Winnipeg, obviously, with the face-off win. Just kind of shows how important that can be.
Slithering through that neutral ice is Thomas. Thomas tried to get it back toward the line. Bounced off the boards. It finally got there. Back toward the line. It's held now by Fowler. Fowler cast into the corner for Thomas. Back toward the line for Fowler. And he couldn't handle the pass cleanly. And it bounced off the blade of the stick and out towards center ice. And quickly in on him is Tanev to chase him back inside his own zone. Lead pass now again for Thomas onto the far side. Swiftly down inside that Winnipeg end. Here come the Blues. Rolled it around to the near side. Pulled off the wall by Buchnevich. He'll play it in toward the corner. Back for Buchnevich on the near side. And back up top for Fowler. Far side for Thomas. Thomas into where the slot. Buchnevich casts it there. Backhand. Shot stopped. Rebound. It's underneath. Hellebuck. And they blow it down. And Tanev will clear out one of the Blues. Right from the slot, top of the ice, right down on the far side, and get on top of him. That was Zach Bolduc. Whistles going off, multiple whistles, big scramble in front, but nothing crossed the goal line.
Talk about desperation from the Winnipeg Jets in defending that net front. Connor Hellebuck was kind of in a precarious position when the initial shot kind of goes right off his toe. And, of course, when you're in that position, there's only so much you can do. And that loose puck comes over to Snuggerud, and I think Connor Hellebuck gets a stick on this thing, which is the initial stop that keeps this thing out. Oh, my goodness, he does. What a save.
Jimmy Snuggerud on the far side post. And then bodies just flying everywhere. No additional penalties. 47 seconds remaining in the penalty to Nino Niederreiter. 2:22 remaining in this first period. 1-0 St. Louis. Just a reminder, the 50-50 playoff mega raffle pot is already over $1.3 million and growing. You can get in on the action on this progressive draw along with today's game day bonus prize. Grab your 50-50 playoff tickets now by texting Jets at 20450.
Underrated part of that play, too, is Dylan Sandberg, who ends up in the net. And there's a couple of times the puck comes to him, but he doesn't cover it in the crease. He just kind of bumps it away from the goal line.
Winnipeg will draw it back into the corner. Sent back toward the line by St. Louis. Captured there by Falk onto the far side. Controlled Kyrou up top for Falk. Wrist shot through traffic. Deflected in front, stopped by Hellebuck. Grabbed again on the far side. Controlled by Sundqvist for Kyrou. Down low for Sundqvist. Rolled it around to the near side and pulled off the wall here by Braden Shen. Skipped in toward the corner. Put it back toward the line. Winnipeg almost intercepted that. It does find Falk, and then it's forced out towards center ice by Iafallo. And Winnipeg will get the puck, and Iafallo twists his way inside the Blues' end. And it's knocked there a little bit further with the help of Braden Shen. 10 seconds remaining in the penalty to Niederreiter. Winnipeg to the bench for fuel and tires here. And now Falk to center ice. He'll drive it back inside the Winnipeg end and hit the top of the dashboard and goes over the glass into the meshing and out of play. So 1 second remaining in the penalty to Niederreiter. 1:36 still to go in the opening period. 1-0 for the Blues on a goal by Philip Broberg, his first of this series.
And it almost looked like Winnipeg might have picked up a shorthanded opportunity when Justin Falk was kind of bobbling it at the Winnipeg blue line. You wondered if Winnipeg's either Iafallo or Lowry was going to be able to chip it past, but Falk does a nice job of keeping it in front of him.
Fowler flipped it down inside that Winnipeg end softly. Now Niederreiter's out of the penalty box. Winnipeg will retrieve that. Stanley for Connor. Cross-ice pass. It's intercepted by Toropchenko. Dances into where the corner shoots. Stopped by Hellebuck. Rebound. Cast into where the corner again by Connor. Gave it away. Rolled around into where the corner. Winnipeg will go after it. Pulled off the wall now by Velarde. Rink-wide pass for Stanley. Out towards center ice. Nemestikov takes a hard smash against the boards by Parayko, but got it down deep inside that Blues end. After to the far side, Velarde back toward the line. Held nicely there by Morrissey. Spins away from a check. Rolls down along the boards and put it back toward the line for Connor. To the near side for Stanley. Wristed toward the net. Deflected in front. That went wide. Rebound. And a backhand with Binnington with his back turned. And Nemestikov somehow had a little bit of the net. And I think it went off the defenseman guarding that. Back toward the line. Held again by Winnipeg and Morrissey. Up top for Stanley. To the near side now for Connor. He couldn't trap that pass. 35 seconds to go in the period. And it's dumped back out towards center ice. And Toropchenko will send it down further inside that Winnipeg end.
Thought Stanley was going to send that wrister to the net. Looked like he had a little bit of a lane, but instead tried to get it down low to Connor Hellebuck. Or to Kyle Connor. Just doesn't quite connect.
20 seconds to go. Winnipeg will redirect it down inside that Blues end. Broberg goes after it, played it into toward the corner. Nice job by Lowry to knock his man down. 10 seconds to go in the period. Center out to the far side. No Jets are there. Broberg is, and he'll flip it out towards center ice. Snuggerud across the line. He got tripped up, and Winnipeg will avoid a penalty. Puck goes toward the side of the net. Good body check there. Lowry on one of the Blues back in behind in Buchnevich. And a expiration horn sounds to conclude 20 minutes here. And I don't think the Jets will be disappointed other than that one chance that they did give up that ended up going past their goaltender on a knuckle puck from Broberg, from Thomas, and Snuggerud at 6:05.
Yeah, the shots on goal read 8-2 in favor of St. Louis. They had a couple of power plays, did the home side, so that will be likely what kind of tilted the shots on goal in their favor. A couple of chances at 5-on-5, but Winnipeg, I really liked their start. Obviously, St. Louis was able to jump and get some goal legs, if you will, coming out of the Broberg goal, but I thought Winnipeg was pretty measured, pretty calm. They're not running around or anything. 2 big penalty kills as well in that first period.
So let's have a look at the stat summary through 20 minutes, and we can tell you there's only one goal to report, and that is Philip Broberg with his first of the series and his first point of the series as well. Robert Thomas and Jimmy Snuggerud pick up the assist at 6:05, and it's 1-0 for St. Louis. They had some chances. The Jets had a couple of chances, including Nemestikov just moments ago, but could not score, and some saves made by Connor Hellebuck as well. Downstairs to talk to Brandon Tanev. Thanks a lot for taking the time. We appreciate it. And your thoughts on that opening 20 minutes? Not bad for your team?
Yeah, we pushed the pace a little bit there. We got some physicality. We got to challenge their goaltender a little bit more, throwing pucks in the net, making things difficult for him. But Helly made some big saves, a couple big PKs there, and just keep pushing the place, play the way we know how to play, and things will come.
Yeah, and Brandon, obviously those penalty kills end up being massive for your team. Down 1-0, you like to keep it at 1-0. What did you guys do well in those first 2 penalty kills?
Yeah, I think everyone's just communicating. Obviously, we got a big save on the second one there from Bucky, but it's challenging them, stick on puck, blocking shots when we have to, getting up ice and limiting their time and space.
As you mentioned, how do you now go about generating a little more offense in the next 40 minutes?
Yes, it's getting pucks into spots where their goaltender can't touch them. Shoot more pucks to the point. We got to take away his eyes, challenge and get to the net front and bank some of the greasy ones here.
Thanks for your time. Good luck in the second and third.
Yeah, thank you.
Brandon Tanev from downstairs. So as mentioned, Broberg is first from Thomas and Snuggerud at 6:05, 1-0 for St. Louis. Power play opportunities. St. Louis 0 for 2 with the man advantage. The Jets 0 for 1. St. Louis now for the last 6 power plays that they have had against the Jets are 0 for 6. So the PK has come around for the Winnipeg Jets in this series as we've gotten further into it, into Game 6 tonight. And as Mitchell mentioned, St. Louis out shooting Winnipeg 8-2 in that first period. And as Brandon Tanev said, they need to get more point shots. They need to get the puck in deep and away from Binnington and start generating some more offense inside that Blues end. First intermission report is coming up next with Kelly Moore and John Rempel, the coach. The score after 1. St. Louis 1, Winnipeg 0. You're listening to Play Now Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Lowry moving in, shoot.
Jets fans, it's your chance to win big all night long with our playoff 50-50 raffle. Get your tickets now for a shot at multiple cash prizes during the game, ranging from $1,000 to $25,000. Plus, one lucky winner will take home 50% of the total sales at the end of the series. Don't miss out. Text JETS to 20450 for your chance to win. That's JETS to 20450.
You know what goes well with pizza from Santa Lucia Pizza. They've been the leaders in quality since 1971, and now they just keep winning award after award after award. So, sounds like they know a thing or two about making tasty pizza. How about this? When you're getting ready on game day, choose one of Santa Lucia Pizza's many specials or combos and find out why time and time again it's listed as Manitoba's favorite pizza.
Santa Lucia Pizza. It's all about the sauce.
Hi, Blake Legault here from Wilfs Eli Ford. Wilfs has been your independent, locally owned Ford dealership for 44 years. That's 44 years of loyal customers. And thank you for your dedication. We have amazing loyalty offers on Edge and F-150s. But it doesn't stop there. We also have
Hey sports fans, thank you for hanging out with us and chatting it up. We're thrilled to bring you the Playoff Pulse. Catch every single NHL and NBA playoff game right here while supporting an incredible cause, SickKids Hospital. Together, we can make a difference with every single view.
Holy Mackinac! Joe Bowen here, the voice of your Toronto Maple Leafs. Every moment you watch on Toronto Sports Insider helps SickKids Hospital. 100% of Leafs playoff stream revenue goes straight to their life-saving care, helping kids in our community and beyond. This is what Playoff Pulse is all about, bringing playoff excitement and making a lasting impact for those who need it most. So let's rally together and show sick kids we're in their corner.
Hey everyone, Easton Cowan here. Let's amplify our impact. Every like, share, and subscribe boost our donations to Sick Kids. Watch the games, get hyped, and spread the word to grow our Playoff Pulse community. Join us now.
Okay, we're going to have to reconnect with John. Something is astray there for sure with that connection. Christian O'Mell, I guess I'll pitch the same question to you. The Jets only 2 shots and 10 attempts. St. Louis did have 8 shots, but only 12 attempts.
Yeah, it was a low event period. It's not surprising that it was like that. I think that's what the Jets would have wanted. They get 2 big kills, which is very important. Their power play didn't do a whole lot. I thought the first couple shifts, the Jets looked better. And Nikolai Ehlers had that one opportunity. He kind of had to long arm reach at on the backhand. Wasn't able to get a lot on it, but still had to force Binnington to make a solid save. Other than that, there really wasn't much the Jets did. And then the rest of the period was Connor Hellebuck just making sure that this game stayed 1-0, right? I thought, again, another great paddle save. That was labeled for the back of the net if he didn't get in there. So he's doing his part, and now, they're only down 1, so that's not the end of the world, but it's low event, but still probably not as good a start as they would have liked.
Yeah, I would say, though, that you would want to move into this game with the idea that you don't give St. Louis anything to get that crowd really jazzed up and into it. And that's why I thought what's the word I'm looking for? As odd as it was for Scott Arniel to call the timeout after the Broberg goal, I thought it was a wise choice because we've seen in this series where the Blues really, really feed off of those goals on home ice.
It's true. I think part of it, too, is just getting another look at the goal to see if they should challenge it. We've seen that a few times in the playoffs, too, to take it a little bit extra time to wonder, what do we have here? And then they decided not to because Sandberg was involved in the collision in front. So, but I agree. You take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of that goal, and St. Louis still had probably more possession than Winnipeg did after that. But in terms of high quality chances, until that late power play, there really wasn't a whole lot from the Blues coming out of that goal.
All right, Christian, we'll come back to you for the second intermission. When we return here on the first intermission report, the coach, John Rempel, will reconnect with us here. It's 1-0, the St. Louis Blues leading the Winnipeg Jets. Jets up 3-2 in the series on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
News and information is more important now than ever. CJOB is working for you, getting the answers your family needs and bringing you into the conversation. 680 CJOB, Winnipeg's news, today's talk.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18+, enjoy responsibly.
For fun and reliability you can count on, your one-stop battery source is Canadian-owned Prairie Battery.
Prairie Battery is family-owned and operated, providing reliable and trusted battery power. When you want true power, come see Prairie Battery and the Prairie Battery team, or visit us at prairiebattery.ca.
When you need batteries for industrial, commercial, auto, recreational, marine, RVs, and more, it can only be prairiebattery.ca.
When the game really counts, you want to watch it on the big screen with great food and cheering fans. That's why Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are Winnipeg's favorite destinations for playoff hockey. Want to experience a game in person? Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are giving away tickets to the next home game. Plus, enjoy great food and beverage specials. Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs. Manitoba owned, Manitoba grown, and Manitoba proud. Can-Ed Inns thanks you for supporting local. Proudly a part of your community since 1975. Enjoy responsibly.
Winnipeg Jets exclusive coverage continues on 680 CJOB and CJKR 97.5 FM Powered 97. The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Winnipeg Jets trailing the St. Louis Blues by a score of 1-0 through 20 minutes as we welcome you to the first intermission report. Not a whole lot going on the scoreboard update here. Houston and Golden State are just about ready to tip off in Game 6 of their series, which the Warriors lead by a margin of 3-2. And in the top of the seventh inning, the Toronto Blue Jays and Cleveland Guardians tied at 3. So I think I can handle that for Christian O'Mell. The coach, John Rempel, reconnects with us by phone for the time being till we work out the technical gremlins that are plaguing what we were using before. But, Coach, the Winnipeg Jets, I don't think, seem to be too perturbed at all or too, they seem quite content, I think, with the way that they were able to play that first period. You don't want to be down 1-0, but I think they made it a pretty boring game, which when you're on the road, Game 6 of a series isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike the period at all, Kelly. I mean, and I thought that the 2 penalty kills after the, unfortunate, the knuckle puck goal, I mean, that just seems to be sort of the way some of that stuff is going against the Jets. But I thought they really kind of, hunkered down and really did a good job. Some really good adjustments on the penalty kill in the last couple of games too, to kind of neutralize some of the things that the Blues have been trying to do on that power play.
If the player's standing in the blue paint, what else could Dylan Samberg have done with Buchnevich?
I mean, the only thing I would say there, Kelly, is this, and it goes back to, I think the great debate about, now we're picking on Connor Hellebuyck, and it's not, that goal is certainly not his fault, but again, the fact that he doesn't play at the top of the blue paint, sometimes it allows the path through there. And the only thing with Samberg kind of got twisted around and his back was to the play, and would that have changed something? Could he have blocked the puck? And ironically, if Broberg hammers that puck like he wanted to, I think that puck actually probably doesn't go in because it gets to the net faster. But that's sort of the rub of the game, right?
Yeah. Now, we interpreted, I was just talking with Christian, we interpreted Scott Arniel's decision to go with that early timeout as odd, but I think in light of what has gone on in this series in St. Louis, I'm not so sure that wasn't a bad idea.
I think Christian is on the mark there, Kelly. I think he was trying to give the two video coaches extra time to kind of really make a full judgment call on whether they should challenge it or not. I'm pretty sure that, he wanted to be dead sure that he should or shouldn't and not put the team in a further bad position with a power play for St. Louis. So I don't sense it was to, kind of deflate momentum or take momentum away from St. Louis. I think that was a call for the guys upstairs.
Okay, well, the way I was reading it is with the way St. Louis has been able to feed off of scoring at home, not so much in Winnipeg, but at home, that I thought maybe that might have had something to do with it as well. And coaches certainly would probably feel for Jim Hillier of the Los Angeles Kings in Game 3 of that series against the Oilers. And I think you're absolutely correct. You do not want to put yourself in a position where you allow the momentum to continue. Although 30 seconds after that timeout, there's the delay of the game penalty on Dylan DeMello, but the Jets did a nice job. They held St. Louis to just one shot on that penalty kill.
Yeah, like I said, Kelly, I think they've adjusted well. And in a series like this, and as accomplished as the coaches are and the players are about making adjustments from game to game in real time in games at the highest levels of the game, I think the Jets have sort of found their feet under them with respect to kind of stemming the momentum that St. Louis has been able to generate on that power play. So, that's a huge part of obviously trying to make your way forward in the playoffs. And I think the Jets, they can feed off of that momentum and carry that forward into the second period. And in terms of the second period has been pretty good for the Jets in terms of shot volume, in terms of scoring chances and whatnot. So even though I believe they're down in goals 4 in the second period, the level of play in the second period for the Jets has been pretty good in this series.
Yeah, St. Louis with now after this first period, they've outscored the Jets 9-6 in the first and 5-2 in the second period. Those 2 goals scored in Game 5 with the first in the second period by the Jets in this series. So what do you forecast then for the middle frame, Coach John Rempel? Because the long change has been a bit of a factor, as we've seen, not only in terms of the goal scoring, but St. Louis is also, Winnipeg has had the benefit of the shots on goal, but St. Louis has managed to manufacture more so on their home ice than again at Canada Life Centre.
Well, I think what's key here, Kelly, is, and you saw it on the chance from Buchnevich. You saw Cam Fowler get up the ice kind of unimpeded. He was net drive guy, and that's a defenseman, and that is something that is going to have to change in these last 2 periods moving forward here. You cannot allow a St. Louis defenseman to dish it and drive and be first to the net, because what that really means is that the Jets are not doing a good enough job on the forecheck, sealing options, and again separating St. Louis defensemen from the puck and allowing St. Louis's defensemen to lead the charge and drive the play off the rush chances. So I think that's going to have to be a really disciplined effort in the second period by the Jets.
We'll watch for that. Coach John Rempel joining us here during the first intermission. 1-0 St. Louis in the lead when we return to the Enterprise Center in Missouri with Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton next on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
In today's business world, Hiring and retaining staff is a challenge, but Chambers Plan Employee Benefits gives you an edge. A solid benefits plan can be the deciding factor for job seekers. 30,000 Canadian businesses agree Chambers Plan gives you the flexibility to offer comprehensive benefits with affordable, stable premiums. See how Chambers Plan can benefit your business at buychambers.ca. That's BUY chambers.ca.
Hey sports fans, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Toronto Sports Insider during the Playoff Pulse. Our mission is simple, bringing sports fans together to hang out, cheer, and change the world one insider at a time, while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto every single game.
Cheers, insiders and sports fans from around the world. The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps sick kids heal the future. Just by being here, you have already made an impact. Now, chat it up, keep it classy, and let's keep changing the world one insider at a time.
After one, just about ready for the start of the second period. Long change for both teams. And the Jets are flying from broadcast left to right. Connor Hellebuyck put his stick on top of the net and is skating back over to the bench area. Not sure if there's an absence of a water bottle or what's going on. Two teams will start this second period, 5 versus 5. And Winnipeg looking for a goal to tie it up. The only goal, Broberg, his first from Thomas and Snuggerud at 6:05. By the way, second period opening faceoff is for Cambrian Credit Union. Looking for a mortgage, get peace of mind and flexibility with the new Best of Both Worlds mortgage. Visit cambrian.mb.ca. And there goes the old water bottle for the new one. So we were right in our assessment of what was going on.
Yeah, hydration is key, obviously. So Connor Hellebuyck making sure he's going to be ready to go for this second period.
They got back to the net and then fired the water bottle that was in the net back toward the bench. And we're underway in the second period. Broberg shoots from the point, deflected net front by Sundqvist and just over the net. Back toward the net. Again, another shot from the point, stopped by Hellebuck's stick. And Winnipeg under siege here to begin this second period. Sandberg to the near side now for Neil Pionk. Trying to put it ahead and onto the stick, dancing right in. Is Barron a shot? He scores! Morgan Barron took a pass from Neil Pionk in the neutral ice area, walked across the blue line, deked out a defenseman, went to the top of the net, and Binnington couldn't stop that. 29 seconds into the second period, and Winnipeg has tied it at 1.
Well, it was against St. Louis in the regular season when Morgan Barron lowered that shoulder to get body position off the rush and scored a big goal for Winnipeg. He did something very similar right here. Lowering that shoulder, getting around Justin Falk. And we might have a challenge coming.
Well, there's a delayed penalty coming up as well, so here we go.
Challenging that there was offside before the goal.
Offside before the goal. If the goal stands, by the way, for Morgan Barron, it will be his first in the playoffs as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. So they're going to see about offside. It will be close.
Yeah, because it's not really like Morgan Barron really had control at the blue line, so he's going to have to be very mindful of where his skates are. Oh, it's Appleton on the other side of the ice. Barron's fine. It's Appleton on the near side. And obviously you heard the crowd reaction when they saw the replay on the scoreboard. They think it's offside. Obviously the St. Louis Blues do as well, as they are the team that challenged. Yeah, on the initial play, I didn't even see Appleton there.
Yeah.
It's not close.
Nope. So that should be coming off the board.
After review, it was deemed that the play was offside. We have no goal.
Delayed penalty now? Yep.
Yep.
For hooking. So the Jets are going on the power play. So while they don't get the goal, and the goal comes off the board, and it's still 1-0 for St. Louis, 29 seconds in to the second period, the Jets will go on to the power play, and it's a hooking call coming up to Justin Falk.
And they're still trying to sort some things out here as the officials and linesmen continue to talk. But obviously, you know, for Winnipeg, sucks to see a goal come off the board, but you have an opportunity here with the power play to put it right back on the board. So look for that shot mentality, that attack mentality from the Winnipeg power play. They tried to get a couple of pucks to the net on their first power play, and Kyle Connor, arguably with the best chance, ended up missing high on the short side. So I'd imagine more shot mentality here for Winnipeg's power play.
Well, Artie will take the draw. The Jets are on the Prairie Battery Power Play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. And the Jets with a draw. Nikolai Ehlers shooting, and he came right down Broadway and put it wide. Back to the near side, Kyle Connor darts around back toward the line for Morrissey. Far side for Ehlers. Up top, Morrissey slap shot, and that howitzer went wide as well. Snatched off the back wall again by Connor. Played down low and controlled. Perfetti back for Connor. Right side point now. Down low to the goal line for Cole Perfetti. Arcs off the boards into the slot now for Morrissey. Didn't shoot the puck. To the near side, Hash again for Connor. Up top, Morrissey. Far side for Ehlers. Slung toward the net. Back on it. Back door. And an opportunity for Connor. It was stopped by Bennington. Connor to the rebound. Back to the line again for Morrissey. To the near side for Perfetti. Takes that on the backhand. And the stick is swatted away here from Bennington. It's to the side of the net. So the goalie doesn't have the stick. Morrissey up top to the near side again for Ehlers. Ehlers rolls off the boards down low for Perfetti. Back toward the line for Ehlers. Ehlers walks the line. Ehlers moves in, shoots, and it went off the toe of Bennington. Grabbed again to the near side by Connor. Connor back toward the line for Morrissey. Far side again for Ehlers. Up top for Morrissey. Near side for Connor. Shoots. And it's blocked by Parayko. Parayko into where the corner. Jammed up along the boards. Can't get it out. Winnipeg back toward the line. They hold the line. Morrissey to the near side. Connor down low for Perfetti. Intercepted by Parayko. And this time Colton Parayko will tumble it off the glass and send it all the way down the ice.
Yeah, two chances in this game for Winnipeg that have kind of been backhand rebound opportunities where they're not quite able to get it on that forehand, get enough zip on it, but Jordan Bennington's gone post to post both times and kept them out.
Dumped down inside that Blues end. Still 16 seconds to go on the power play. After it goes Fowler into where the corner. He slinks away from a couple of checks, got it back toward the line. Winnipeg can't hold it, and it's onto the stick of Sundqvist and sent all the way down on top of Hellebuck. He'll cover up and hang on with Nathan Walker right on the doorstep. 4 seconds to go. And the penalty to Justin Falk. Winnipeg on power play number 2. They're 0 for 1. They're trailing 1-0, 17:38 remaining in this second period.
And a couple of opportunities for Winnipeg on that power play, but only one ends up getting to Bennington. You had a couple of looks, one from Josh Morrissey, one from Nikolai Ehlers, and just shots that were coming from up high with traffic, but just missing the net.
Back around the boards to the near side, racing out towards center ice. Pionk onto the far side for Nemestikov. He'll shoot it in. After it, back in behind the net goes Niederreiter. Spins it around to the near side. Stop there. Pionk up top for Sandberg. Slammed toward the net. That is off a body. Grabbed now by Robert Thomas out towards center ice. He'll dump it in from the red line. Blues want to change here. Winnipeg 0 for 2 at the man advantage. Blues are back at full strength, and Winnipeg will paddle it down inside that Blues end. After it goes Niederreiter, pushed against the boards and stapled there by Leddy. In to help out is Appleton, trying to dig it off the wall. Snuggerud is there as well. 4 players back in behind that Blues net. Now a 5th comes in for Winnipeg and Lowry. He takes a couple of cross checks from Parayko, trying to dig it out of some skates. And Parayko came away with a puck, chipped it to himself, moved it up along the boards, and then Lowry finished it on him. Morrissey stopped that at center ice, but just nudged it back inside that Blues end. Snuggerud to the near side now for Thomas. Swings away from the check, crossed over the Jets line. Back along the boards for Kyrou. Turn it over. Back the other way with some speed. Morgan Barron thrusts his way inside the zone toward the net. One-handed it toward the goal. And he hit the side of the net. Barron again back out in front. Lowry got tripped up by Thomas. Came back toward the line. Held here by DeMello. Shoots. Deflected in front. Stopped. Rebound is sashayed away by Kyrou. Banked off the boards out towards center ice. And in front of everybody else is Morrissey. He'll come away with a puck, and Winnipeg will reload at center ice. DeMello onto the far side again for Nemestikov. Shoots it in, rolls into where the corner, onto the near side in Tanev. Tanev will go after it, try to free it up. Velarde's there as well, back along the boards, hopped over the stick of Luke Shen, slides back inside the Winnipeg end, and there to rescue that is Stanley. Stanley put it back in behind the net, intercepted, coming right down Main Street. Neighbors shoots, and it's stopped by Hellebuck. Puck was stolen by Braden Shen on a bad pass by the Jets inside their own zone, and Neighbors is thwarted on another fine save by Hellebuck in this second period. Winnipeg will paddle it back out towards center ice. Fowler at his own line, into where the middle and again, and Bolduc will backhand it down inside that Winnipeg end.
Yeah, just a miscommunication on a reverse, but for the Winnipeg Jets there, ends up in a dangerous chance against.
Velarde will knock it down inside that Blues end. 15-10 remaining in this second period. 1-0 for the St. Louis Blues on a first period goal by Phil Broberg. Now Toropchenko onto the far side. Parayko swings inside that Winnipeg end. Put on the brakes and sends it dribbling around to the near side. Hustling after it. There goes Pionk up along the boards. Intended for Tony Netto. Couldn't get it out. Parayko kept it in the line. He put it back in behind the net. Toropchenko will take a body smash there from a couple of Jets that came back toward the line. This time Parayko shoots as he kept it in. Bounced off the leg of Tony Netto. After Walker into toward the corner. Taking off the puck. Winnipeg reverses to the near side. And Neil Pionk will slink back out towards center ice and dump it back in from the red line and head off on a line change over the far side. And we're going to get a stoppage of play. And is there a penalty coming up against the Blues?
Yeah, I believe so. Sandberg was taken down behind the play. And I'm wondering if it's a similar play to what Cole Perfetti got away with in Game 5, because Sandberg was definitely hunched over in that same manner. Walker heads off to the box. And the officials are going to chat here. I'm wondering what each one saw. Still haven't seen a replay. Sandberg is in some discomfort on the bench, but main thing is he's staying on the bench. Yeah, it looks like it's a spear.
Major penalties under review.
Yeah, major penalties, so that's why they want to get together. It's under review. Jets hockey, of course, brought to you in part by Mid-Canada Fasteners, San Lucia Pizza, and Mr. Furnace. And if this was a major penalty, this could be a major turning point in this hockey game.
Yeah, 100%, especially it feels like Winnipeg's power play is just so close to breaking through here. They had a couple of great looks on that last opportunity. And it's behind the play where Walker just kind of shoves the stick into the midsection of Dylan Sandberg, and they've already put away the headset, so we're going to get a call right away here.
The call is a minor penalty for slashing.
2 minutes for slashing to Nathan Walker.
But still, if you're Winnipeg, a power play opportunity, right? So smart move by the officials to call the major just so that they can get another look at it, especially if nobody on the ice really, had a great angle on it. The official that had his arm up for the penalty was kind of behind the play, so it's kind of sometimes hard to see where that impact point is from there.
Face-off will be to the left of Jordan Binnington. 14:29 remaining in this second period. Jets back on the power play for Prairie Battery. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born, Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. Winnipeg wins the draw. Down low. Perfetti backdoor. Jamming away at it. They score! Cole Perfetti tried to go backdoor. That was stopped. And then he whacked away at it on the short side of the post a couple of times. He'll pick up a big goal for Winnipeg. And with 14:17 remaining in this second period, the Jets will tie it at 1 on Cole Perfetti's first in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, and he's been so close, right, over the last number of games. Some great opportunities that didn't go for him. And this one, it's not necessarily, a beautiful tic-tac-toe play, but it doesn't have to be. Cole Perfetti, number one off the faceoff, helps Winnipeg get this faceoff win. He beats Ryan Suter on a one-on-one battle, gets the puck back to the point, and then when he gets it next to the net, he kind of just puts it on net and then just bangs away at that rebound and is able to lift it over Binnington.
It's a power play goal for Winnipeg, and it came just seconds, and we're talking seconds, into the power play for the Winnipeg Jets. Perfetti is first, so it ties it at 1, and the power play gets rolling. Back across the line. Snuggerud, curl and drag. Lost the puck. Two Jets banged into each other, and Niederreiter and Appleton back toward the line. Falk shoots. Stopped by Hellebuck. Rebound gathered up nicely by Morgan Barron and rolled around to the near side. And it skated freely out towards center ice there by DeMello. Punched ahead off the stick of Niederreiter. We're going to get a stoppage of play. They're going to say it didn't go off the stick of Niederreiter. It'll be a nice and call against the Jets. So Cole Perfetti with a power play goal. Winnipeg 1 for 3 with the man advantage, and they tied at 1.
And the other good news out of this is both Mason Appleton and Nino Niederreiter seem all right. Sometimes when you're in Niederreiter's position, you're not expecting to get hit. Any kind of collision can be even more painful than usual, and took a hard hit from Mason Appleton as the blue player in the middle kind of avoided the check, and the two Jets came together.
Faced off to the right of Hellebuck. Blues win the draw. Up top, snap toward the net, glove down by Hellebuck off the stick of Jordan Kyrou, and he'll hang on for a whistle with a goaltender for Winnipeg. 13:39 remaining in this second period. The score, Winnipeg 1, St. Louis 1. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Winnipeg, are you whiteout ready? Choose Hometown Pride. Choose 1919. Brewed by Little Brown Jug, Manitoba's flagship beer since 2016. Here's to building something memorable.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
Manitobans know our weather can be all over the place. Today, it might be cold and shitty, but tomorrow, you might feel like an egg cooking on the sidewalk. Get ahead of the weather changes with reliable heating and air conditioning. Hi, I'm Kelsey Waters. Call us today and get a preseason checkup of your air conditioner before the hot summer days arrive. Plus, get a $50 gift card just by referring a friend to Reliable Heating. We are family strong, reliable strong, and Winnipeg strong. For details, visit reliableheatair.ca.
This is Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
Gets into a power play. Cole Perfetti is first of the postseason, first of the Stanley Cup playoffs for him in his career. Connor and Morrissey at 5:43 ties the score at 1. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. Face off to the left to Connor Hellebuck, and Winnipeg will win the draw. Curling back in behind his own net is Pionk to the near side now for Perfetti. Scoots out towards center ice and will back hit it down inside that Blues end. After it goes Falk, he's nudged off the puck by Lowry. Perfetti now off the boards, back toward the line. Far side, Sandberg up top now. Pionk shoots, deflected. Perfetti at the side of the net, just put it wide. It's driven down by Falk off some skates intended there for Neighbors. Good job by Neil Pionk to get that back around the corner to the near side. Picked up by Ehlers. Indirect now Winnipeg at 2-on-2. Perfetti slides inside the zone. Turns into where the corner. Falk will bump him off the puck. Gathered up by Broberg back in behind the net. The other goal scorer in the game. He sends it out towards center ice. Nemestikov will stop that. Winnipeg, couple of good active sticks. Puck is sent to the near side. Settled down by Broberg and cast back inside the Winnipeg end. And then Nemestikov finishes checking on him. Velarde out of his own zone into toward the middle with some speed for Morrissey. Across the line from Domestikov. Back for Morrissey. And a redirect as he snuck back in behind the D. And it goes off the stick of Binnington. Back the other way come the Blues. This one's opened up. Down to the near side. Butch Davis shoots. And it's stopped by Hellebuck off the rush. And a nice pass to Pavel Buchnevich from Cam Fowler, and an excellent save again by Connor Hellebuck in transition. 12:27 remaining in the second period. We're tied at 1.
Yeah, and you could see the Winnipeg Jets after the initial rush chance that they had up ice on the Josh Morrissey deflection. When that puck goes wide and ends up going off the boards, St. Louis quickly attacking back the other way. They get numbers up ice, and Winnipeg, despite their best efforts to get back. I mean, you had Gabriel Velarde covering for Josh Morrissey, but they attacked the other side where Dylan DeMello is, and Hellebuck makes a great stop.
Suter at the point. Down along the board. Skips into where the corner got around Iafolo. Put it toward the net short side. That went off the side of the net. Grabbed there by Pionk. Hard off the boards. Got it out towards center ice. Toropchenko on the fill. Back inside his own zone. It's sent up along the boards and finds the stick of Walker. He ran into Stanley, but Toropchenko was there. He knocked it with one hand back in behind that Winnipeg net. Battling there against Pionk. Put it back toward the line. Suter, far side for Leddy. One-timer Fanda on that. It trickles back in behind that Winnipeg net. Center out of the near side again. Winnipeg will try to get it out a couple of times, and Iafolo will shovel it with a backhand out toward the neutral ice. Now it's grabbed. Dominic Toninato skips inside the zone. Dropped it here, Iafolo. Toninato from a bad angle, and his shot goes off the side of Binnington and back into where the corner. Good rush for Winnipeg in this fourth line. Iafolo down along the boards. We'll try to free it up. Toninato is there as well. Back toward the line for Luke Shen. D-to-D on the far side. Wrist shot toward the net. And that is stopped off the stick of Sandberg by Binnington. And he'll hang on for whistle. 11:26 remaining in the second period. Tied at 1. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by St. Andrews Parts and Power, Wilfs Eli Ford, and Windeck.
Dominic Toninato's line taking advantage of the fact that after the Iafolo clear, Ryan Suter was kind of standing still in the neutral zone. So that's what allowed Winnipeg to get past that initial layer of defense of the St. Louis Blues to set up this rush opportunity. I wonder if Brandon Tanev was calling for it from the other side of the ice, and Toninato thought, I don't know if I can get that one to him. He's not quite in position where he's a step ahead of his check, so he just kind of dumped it back to his line mate, took the return pass, and tried to get a sharp angle shot on that.
Face off to the right of Binnington. Barron is waved. In comes Niederreiter. He wins it back toward the line for Morrissey. He's pressured, spins it around back and behind the net. Pulled off the wall there by Falk. Tried to get it out, hit one of the officials. Falk gathers it back up again, now for Matthew Joseph. Flying through that neutralized, crossed over the line, shoots. Kicked away by Hellebuck. Rebound into where the corner on the far side. After it goes Morrissey along with Niederreiter. Niederreiter will dig it off the wall, but battling there against a couple of Blues. He'll reverse to the near side. He takes a smash again from Sundqvist to the near side now. DeMello, he'll cast it ahead off some bodies, and it dribbles down inside that Blues end. Bouncing puck, gathered up by Bolduc to the near side. Hops toward his own line. Cross-ice pass for Falk, and he'll drive it in from center, and the Blues want to change. 10:40 remaining in this second period. Tied at 1. Winnipeg has scored on the power play. Perfetti. They gave up an even strength goal. Broberg back in the first period. Winnipeg will dump it back on top of Binnington. Curling back in behind his own net is Parayko. Winnipeg made some changes. Now Fowler onto the far side for Shen. Knocked gently down inside that Winnipeg end. Picked up by Luke Shen. Spins it around to the near side. 2-on-1 developing. Ehlers through the neutral ice. Ehlers moving in. Shoots. Stop. Rebound. Stopped by Binnington as well. Two great saves by Binnington on Nikolai Ehlers. Out towards center ice it goes. Knocked away by Winnipeg, but following up his neighbors. Neighbors across the line. Now for Snuggerud. Shoots. Stop. Rebound back out in front. That carted away nicely again here by Perfetti. To the near side for Luke Shen. And he crossed over the line, but Ehlers in ahead of the play on the far side. And we'll get an offside call against the Jets. 9:56 remaining in the second period. Both goaltenders are shining here tonight in this 1-1 tie. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Jets
fans, playoff hockey is back, and there's nothing bigger than the Winnipeg Whiteout. You can be here for every unforgettable history-making moment by becoming a season ticket member today. Experience the Whiteout inside Canada Life Center, live and in person. Get access to playoff packages and pre-sales for round 2 and beyond by visiting winnipegjets.com/memberships today. That's winnipegjets.com/memberships.
Experience the excitement at South Beach Casino and Resort as we celebrate 20 fantastic years, and we have you to thank. So come be a part of our 20th anniversary event. Get in May 3rd. You could win a chance to spin our 20 times prize wheel and come up 10 grand richer. The 20th anniversary celebration is on at South Beach Casino and Resort. For details, visit southbeachcasino.ca. Good times to be had at South Beach Casino and Resort.
It's Jacuzzi Manitoba's 25th anniversary. 25% off jacuzzi hot tubs and swim spas. Get a 4-person jacuzzi hot tub for just $69.90, or a 7-person jacuzzi hot tub loaded with jets and LED lights for just $10,990. And swim spas starting under $27,000, plus 25% off in-stock massage chairs and saunas. And 0% financing is available. Over 100 hot tubs in stock and on sale right now at Jacuzzi Manitoba, 1580 St. Mary's Road, or 411 Madison Street.
Hey, this is Nikolai Ehlers. Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton are bringing it Winnipeg Jets hockey style on 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg Jets hockey is brought to you by Shine Dental, Mr. Reuter, and Cambry Credit Union. Neutral ice face-off in this 1-1 tie. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this second period. Nemesnikov will take the draw. It's won by Thomas back inside his own zone. Scampering out towards center ice. Parayko, he'll drive it in. Tumbled around into toward the corner. Winnipeg will push it back in behind their own net. That's where the fight will start here. Sandberg sends it around over the stick of Parayko and out towards center ice. It's ejected. Parayko inside his own zone. Down to center ice. He'll thrust it back in. Pulled off the wall there by Pionk. Had some problems with it. Nemesnikov there to help out. Pionk ties up his man. Snuggerud is there. Trying to swat it away from him was Sandberg. Came back along the wall. Intercepted by Velarde. He trucks out towards center ice. Velarde into the middle of the ice. Onto the far side now for Connor. Connor back to the near side for Nemesnikov. Trying to fight off a check. Bumped off the puck there by Thomas. Thomas, a backhand pass. Rink wide on the far side for Snuggerud. Came across the line. Stopped up. Snuggerud will get it into toward the corner for Buchnevich. Spins against Morrissey. Morrissey will staple him toward the boards on the far side. And to help out is Connor. Up along the wing, but not out. Winnipeg couldn't get it out. Velarde tried that. Back toward the line. Broberg put it back in behind the net. Walker is there against a couple of Jets. Fatsa comes in to help out. Fourth line is now out there for the Blues. Winnipeg will fashion it around the boards, and escaping some pressure is Morrissey. He'll flip it out towards center ice. Falk will knock that down. He'll move it ahead again. Sprinting inside that Winnipeg end is his D partner in Broberg, the goal scorer, back in behind the net. Put it out in front of the shot. They score. Nathan Walker is third of the series. Another rush by Broberg. And it's 2-1 for St. Louis.
And a couple of Winnipeg players get caught on a long shift. Josh Morrissey tries to flip this puck on a clearing attempt into the St. Louis zone, but it gets knocked down in the neutral zone. And because of the long change, Gabriel Velarde's not able to get off, and neither are the D pairs. And Broberg, still fresh, able to jump into the play. He gets around back of the net and just kind of finds a little bit of an opening to find it to Walker in front. And not much chance for Hellebuck there on that close proximity shot.
2 points for Broberg in this hockey game. 11:34, the time of the goal. Walker has 3 goals in the series. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. So Winnipeg trailing once again. And they'll try to corral the puck back inside their own zone, and they do. Pionk to Appleton. Bounced out towards center ice. Joseph will knock it back in with some help from Sundqvist. St. Louis, a wholesale line change, and back in behind his own net again is Neil Pionk. He'll skip out towards center ice. To the near side, driven right in on top of Binnington. Bennington will stop that and slide it in toward the corner. 7:35 remaining. Here is Shen. One-on-one, moves in, shoots and scores. Braden Shen with his second. 3-1 St. Louis.
And this is just a shot off the rush from the right circle. It just gets through Connor Hellebuck. 2 quick goals from the St. Louis Blues have turned this 1-1 tie into a 3-1 lead. And it's just a long stretch pass from the St. Louis end. It looks like Connor Hellebuck tries to get the glove on it, but doesn't quite get all of it, and ends up beating the Jets goaltender.
So Braden Shen will get his second of the series. 12:37 the time of that goal. And St. Louis has done this before where they've exploded for multi-goals in a short period of time. Back toward the line, another shot. Stop, rebound, and the wraparound by Kyrou is stopped by Hellebuck, and he'll hang on for a whistle. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. 3-1 for the Blues. Shen is second after Walker's third. Before that, Perfetti tied it at 1. Winnipeg is down by 2 at 3-1. 7:15 remaining in the second period.
And what you need now, if you're the Winnipeg Jets, is you need that kind of momentum-turning shift. You got to spend some time back in the St. Louis end, because they've kind of rattled off a couple of shifts here in Winnipeg's end, forcing some turnovers. You just need a line to go out there and turn things around a bit.
Falk from the point, slap shot, that one wide, grabbed again by Shen. Fans are on, Connor Hellebuck back in behind the net, picked up by Morris, he outlet it far side. Nikolai Ehlers through that neutral ice will hoist it down inside of that Blues end, paddled up along the boards. Neighbors will pull it off the wall, and that pass there from Broberg now for Luke Shen, for Braden Shen. He'll push it down inside that Winnipeg end. To the near side again. DeMello onto the far side for Ehlers. Crossed over the line to the near side, Perfetti. Back on the far side for Ehlers, moving in, shoots, and he ripped it over the net. Came off the back wall and snatched there by Toropchenko. Hustling through the neutral ice, he'll backhand it inside that Winnipeg end. And then back off the back wall, and a shot by Walker. And that's stopped by Hellebuck. Back toward the line. Fowler will hold it. Fowler shoots and scores. St. Louis with 6:20 remaining in this second period. Fowler will get another point. And he is leading all defensemen in this series. And he'll pick up a big goal. It's 3 quick goals for St. Louis, their largest lead of the night. And the wheels are just about ready to fall off for Winnipeg.
Yeah, you just think of the opportunities that Winnipeg had after Cole Perfetti made it 1-1. The 2-on-1 opportunity, the Josh Morrissey redirect that doesn't go, and then all of a sudden in about a 3-minute span, if that, it turns into a 4-1 St. Louis lead, and just a huge momentum swing here in the second.
Fowler's extended a point-scoring streak to 6 straight in this series. It's his second goal. It comes at 13:40. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. 4 goals in this period. And it's 4-1 St. Louis. And Barron back in behind his own net for Neil Pionk. Spins away from some traffic. Back in toward the middle for Sandberg. Moved ahead to the near side for Barron and across the line. Barron moves in, back out in front. And he tried to get it there for Niederreiter. He's knocked down. Back toward the line. Shot by Morrissey off the heel of his stick. Bounced wide into toward the corner. Winnipeg trying to march after it. Caused some chaos. The puck is dispatched down inside the Winnipeg end. Out of the Blues end. Morrissey back after it. Bolduc will finish the check on Morrissey. Morrissey moved it ahead. Here comes Appleton across the line. And now we're going to have something happen back in behind. And the play continues. DeMello's shot. That's stopped. And they're going to blow the whistle. Morrissey's going to be fingered for a penalty along with Zach Bolduc. Bolduc's over to the bench. I saw the referee point to both, but they've only put Morrissey in the box. Are they going to go back and get Bolduc?
Not sure, but...
No, it's just to Morrissey for roughing. 5:14 remaining in this second period. 4-1 St. Louis. They'll go on the power play when we come back. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97, 680 CJOB.
Looking for an outdoor lighting solution for your deck and landscape? Look no further than Windeck.
Hi, I'm Mel Duick. Windeck is a premier dealer for Enlight outdoor lighting, a lighting system that can be installed by anyone who can plug in a toaster. Control your lights with Bluetooth phone application and get lit with Enlight. Enjoy your backyard investment well into the night. Don't let the sun end your fun. For more information on Enlight, come visit our showroom, 937 Redonda Street, and see what fixtures fit you. Windeck. Do it once. Do it right.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Care to sample our delectable filet mignon?
Oh, no, thank you. Actually, I'd love to, but my dentures have another idea.
Don't miss out on life's appetizing offerings because of ill-fitting dentures. Get set right with Shine Dental. Their expert team helps secure loose dentures while improving your oral health, making eating more pleasurable and ensuring you smile confidently. Available at Shine Dental's 1104 Pembina Highway location.
Would you like to try?
Yes, I would.
Book today and find your shine at shinedental.ca.
Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
Josh Morrissey for roughing at 14:46. Put St. Louis on the power play for the third time tonight. They are 0 for 2. They lead it by 3 at 4-1. They have scored 3 goals in just over 2 minutes. And Winnipeg will get the puck back out towards center ice, shorthanded. 2 minutes and 6 seconds, to be precise. And the fans are chanting again. Under 5 minutes remaining in the second period. Buchnevich out of the far side. Down inside that Winnipeg end. Snuggerud back into where the high slot here for Fowler. Fowler, 10 points in this series. Just scored a goal to the near side. Snuggerud shoots, stopped by Hellebuck. Stick save made. Popped into where the corner, sent back along the boards. Fowler, rink one on the far side. Now Thomas back out in front. And it's knocked away nicely and kicked into where the corner by Iapollo. And then he will discard it with a backhand down inside that Blues end.
Morrissey, when he took the roughing penalty, was upset, I think, with Bolduc on the hit that he threw deep in the Winnipeg zone just a couple of seconds before. It looked a little high.
And an offside call against the Blues, trying to enter that Winnipeg Jets territory. And we'll get a stoppage of play. 4:12 remaining second period. 4-1 for St. Louis. 58 seconds remaining in the penalty to Josh Morrissey.
And for Winnipeg, you want to get, obviously, through this penalty kill and try to get things going back your way. It's still a decent amount of time left in this hockey game. It's just a matter if you can get one and start turning things back towards you, because St. Louis has certainly turned the pressure up here.
Winnipeg will bounce it down inside that Blues end. Fans are right into it here. They are energized, and Shan back into where the middle, and hopping through that neutral ice is Kyrou back toward the line for Neighbors to the near side. Up top now for Falk to the near side for Shan, rolling off the board, shoots. And I don't know if it hit a body, is Sundqvist in front, or Hellebuck made the save. Doesn't go in, came back with the line. Falk, wrist top. Wrist shot is stopped back out in front again by Pionk, rolled around to the near side and up along the boards and off the stick of Nemestikov, and it slides down inside that St. Louis end. 15 seconds remaining in the power play for the Blues. Here they come. Across the line. Kyrou trying to put it into where the corner. Ticked off a skate. Sundqvist back for Kyrou. And a one-timer. His stick was lifted nicely by Winnipeg. Sent back to the line. Falk will hold that. Put it back in behind the net for Luke Shen. Shen will reverse to the near side for DeMello. Hopped over his stick. Stays inside the zone. Faxa back out in front. The shot, they score. Alexei Toropchenko. It's a 5-1 lead for St. Louis. And Winnipeg had a chance to get it out again and could not.
Yeah, the puck just goes over the stick of Dylan DeMello, and by that point, Winnipeg's forwards had already kind of pushed up ice, so there was nobody high in the zone to corral this puck. And both of Winnipeg's defensemen get caught kind of deep, and then the Blues come into the zone with just a whole lot of speed. Nathan Walker with the center lane drive takes away the eyes of Connor Hellebuck, and Toropchenko right behind with the shot.
So Toropchenko will get a goal, and for Alexei Toropchenko, it's his second of the series. 16:57 the time of the goal. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. 5 goals in the period, 4 by the Blues, and the Blues lead at 5-1. Back in the retrieve inside of his own zone is Stanley. We're going to get a offside call against the Blues. And Winnipeg is just reeling right now. And they'll have a neutralized face-off here. And if Winnipeg still had their timeout, you might think about calling it, but they used that in the first to determine if they wanted to contest and review the Broberg goal. They did not, but they burned their timeout early on.
Well, and on top of that, you know, like obviously you think about the start Winnipeg had in this second period. The Morgan Barron goal gets called back. You're able to pull yourself even on the power play, and you get all these opportunities to possibly take the lead, but just can't find a way to break through. And St. Louis, like they've done on home ice, seemingly every single game in this series, get 1, and then they get 2 and 3 and 4.
Tanev gave it away inside his own zone, and moving off the boards and firing a shot toward the net was Bolduc. That went wide, kept in by Leddy on the far side. Now somebody's lost their stick over the far side. Winnipeg will snatch the puck in Tony Nato, and he'll wrist it safely out towards center ice. Iafallo after it there. Beetling in along that boards on the near side. Wrestled off the puck by Sundqvist. Played it to the far side for Leddy. Leddy moved it for Kyrou. Kyrou moved it ahead for Joseph. Overskated the puck. Penalty coming up to the Jets. It's grabbed again on the far side by Kyrou. And he avoided a check. Touched by Niederreiter and Winnipeg. Another penalty here. Going to the box. Likely will be for roughing on Logan Stanley or something of that sort.
Yeah, possibly holding the stick. He had grabbed on.
Minor penalty, holding the stick.
Yeah, he had grabbed onto the stick. He went up, he stepped up in the neutral zone, did Stanley, and threw a check over by the benches. But then instead of letting that Blues skater go, he just kind of latched onto the stick, and that usually draws the attention of the officials. So just a real tough end to the kind of the back half of this second period. Kind of like Game 4, Winnipeg in that 1-1 situation. You get about halfway through the game, you're sitting in a really good spot. And then St. Louis finds a way to grab that momentum and then put it firmly in their side.
So Stanley for holding. Power play number 4 for St. Louis. And they're 0 for 3. Puck squirts right into Hellebuck, and he'll wrist that off the boards and send it all the way down the ice. 1:45 remaining in the second period. 5-1 for the Blues. And through that neutral ice, here they come swiftly. Braden Shannon across the line. Somebody's going to be offside. We'll get a stoppage of play. Flatlanders, Winnipeg's largest beer and beverage festival, is back this June 6 and 7 at Canada Life Center. Sample more than 300 beers, including products exclusive to the festival, and an expanded selection of ciders and ready-to-drink bevies. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Flatlanders Beer Fest in support of the True North Youth Foundation.
Been to that event a couple of times. It's always a good time wandering around sampling.
The cider, the beer, or the other bevies?
All of it, usually.
You don't discriminate, right?
No, absolutely not.
Good for you. Crossed over the line, backhanded inside the Winnipeg end. Luke Shen will flutter that out with a backhand and rolls out towards center ice. 1:15 remaining in this second period. Here comes Kyrou to the near side now for Braden Shen across the line. Back on the far side, Sunquist for Kyrou. Fires with a slap shot. That went off a body. Nemestikov can't get it out. Kept in by Folk to the near side. Dances down along the boards. Put it back toward the line for Kyrou. Near side hash for Folk. Stick handling will dust it off. Back up top for Kyrou. Wristed through traffic. And it's stopped by Hellebuck. And he'll hang on with 49 seconds remaining in this second period. 5-1 for the Blues.
And Luke Shen making sure Oscar Sundqvist doesn't get too comfortable in and around the crease of Connor Hellebuck. And Hellebuck able to spot that one through some more traffic that the Blues were able to get to the front of the net. No rebound to be had.
Jets with just 11 shots in total in this hockey game, and we are just about through 40 minutes. Blues win the draw. Bolduc into where the corner. To the near side, he'll get a return pass. Bolduc now will drop it for Thomas back toward the line. And Fowler was going one way, the pass was going the other, and it slides all the way back down inside that St. Louis hand. Thomas will pick it up. 30 seconds to go in the period. He will lumber through that neutral ice, drop it off, get it back into where the slot, came back toward the line. To the near side, Bolduc will hold it for Thomas. Thomas will cast it back into where the corner for Snuggerud. Angle, he'll shoot, stopped by Hellebuck. Bounced into where the corner, Snuggerud paddled it back toward the line. That goes by everybody and out towards center ice. 10 seconds left. And again, to the near side. Thomas across the line. Thomas, stick handling, lost the puck, and that'll do it for 40. In Missouri tonight.
Well, there was a point in the second period where Winnipeg was out shooting St. Louis 9-5. And that was shortly after Cole Perfetti was able to tie the game. And then the shots in the second period end up 15-9. So a 10-0 run for St. Louis to close out the second period. And you can kind of see why they were able to turn a 1-1 game into the 5-1 situation that it sits at right now.
Well, let's have a look at the stats summary through 40 minutes. It's been all Blues, especially in that second period. St. Louis opened the scoring. Philip Broberg, his first from Thomas and Snuggerud at 6:05. 1-0 St. Louis after one period of play. And then Winnipeg tied the score. Cole Perfetti on the power play. Just 12 seconds into the man advantage from Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey at 5:43. And you thought, oh, here come the Jets. And they tied it at 1, but 4 unanswered by the St. Louis Blues, including 2 in a minute, actually 2 in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Walker, his third of the postseason, third of this series from Boberg and Falk at 11:34 to make it 2-1. Braden Shen is second from Neighbors and Suter at 12:37. Fowler, his second from Parayko and Toropchenko at 13:40. And then Alexei Toropchenko is second from Faxa at 16:57. And that spells a 4-goal outburst for the Blues. And they lead 5-1 at the end of 2 periods of play. Power play opportunities. The Blues are officially 0 for 4. They're officially 0 for 3. They're on their 4th, and they have 8 seconds remaining with which to work to continue over into the third period on that penalty to Logan Stanley. And the Jets tonight are 1 for 3 with the man advantage. Shots on goal, as Mitchell mentioned, St. Louis 15 in that second period. Winnipeg 9. St. Louis out shooting Winnipeg 23-11 through 40 minutes. Broberg, Walker, Shen, Fowler, Toropchenko, the goal scorers for St. Louis. Perfetti, the lone goal for the Jets tonight in game number 6. Just a reminder, if there is a game 7, it goes Sunday at Canada Life Center. That will be a 6 o'clock start. 4 o'clock will be our pregame show. Second intermission report is coming up next with Kelly Moore and John Rumpel. The score after 2. The St. Louis Blues 5, the Winnipeg Jets 1. You're listening to Play Now Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97, 680 CJOB.
When the game really counts, you want to watch it on the big screen with great food and cheering fans. That's why Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are Winnipeg's favorite destinations for playoff hockey. Want to experience a game in person? Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are giving away tickets to the next home game. Plus, enjoy great food and beverage specials. Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs. Manitoba owned, Manitoba grown, and Manitoba proud. Can-Ed Inns thanks you for supporting local. Proudly a part of your community since 1975. Enjoy responsibly.
Got pain? Meet the Manitoba Physiotherapy Association, a professional organization fostering excellence in practice, education, and research. With over 500 licensed physiotherapists and physiotherapy students in the province, the goal of MPA is to advance the profession of physiotherapy and to improve the health of Manitobans. So when you visit your physiotherapist, you can rest assured that you'll have received the highest standard of care. And if you don't already have a physiotherapist, you can learn more and find one at mvphysio.org.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic. The most domestic choice.
This is Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
5-1, the St. Louis Blues crushing the Winnipeg Jets through 40 minutes of play. Another period on the road that gets away from Connor Hellebuck and the Winnipeg Jets. I thought I saw flashed across the screen on the Sportsnet broadcast that Connor Hellebuck, only the third goaltender in playoff history to give up 4 or more goals in 7 consecutive road games. And it certainly seemed to come out of the blue tonight as we congratulate Teresa Chaboyer, who correctly predicted Cole Perfetti would score tonight's first goal of the game for the Winnipeg Jets. So, Teresa, congratulations. You win a pair of single-night tickets to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, July 18th through 20th at Assiniboine Park. I'm Kelly Moore, along with the coach, John Rempel, and the host of the CJOB Sports Show, Christian O'Mell. And Coach Rempel, I did not see that complete collapse by the Jets in the second half of the second period coming. If anything, I thought it was going the other way at about the 10-minute mark.
Well, Kelly, I mean, it certainly sure looked that way. I mean, the Jets were starting to exactly what you just said, exert their influence on the game territorially, possession-wise, shot-wise, scoring chance-wise. Nick Ehlers on the 2-on-1 has a chance to make it. 2-on-1 gets 2 cracks at it. And from that point forward, full implosion by the Jets.
Yeah, that goal that started it, Christian, the one by Walker, I'm not going to pin that one on Connor Hellebuck because Nino Niederreiter comes racing in and skates right by Walker to the left side post where there really wasn't any need to cover. But boy, after that, I don't know how you can possibly say that those aren't 3 goals that Connor Hellebuck would want all of them back.
Yeah, the 2-1 goal for sure is just bad coverage in the Jets' end, and I thought they'd done a good job of that in the game. And then all of a sudden, you know, if you take the aerial view screenshot of when Walker shoots the puck, there's 3 white jerseys all around him, but no one's taking them, right? And that's mainly on Nino for just skating past him. And so, okay, that's not great. And then the Schenn goal's just really bad. You need a save there from Connor Hellebuck, right? And you got a defenseman near the puck, but it's not deflected. It's not a screen. It just goes through Hellebuck, and it all unravels from there. You get one where it's, you know, there might be 8 guys between Hellebuck and Fowler. It would have been tough to see that puck, but, you know, and then the Toropchenko goal is not good either. So it's all unraveling. It's the same movie we've seen already this series a couple times where the Jets, you know, especially in Game 4, again, they're in it. They've got a decent going. It's tied in the second period, and then it all crumbles in quick succession. And if you're a Jets fan, you just can't believe what you're seeing here because we've been down this road so many times now in Game 2 or Game 3 and in Game 4 against Colorado, against Vegas. It's like, how many times do we need to see this movie? And you're probably thinking, this is the President's Trophy team. What the heck is this?
And that's the thing, John. Yes, they do have home ice advantage for Game 7. But that's a dangerous game to play, putting all your eggs in that one basket.
Well, no question about that, Kelly. I mean, and I mean the thing that's becoming more and more obvious and prevalent is the St. Louis defense core is chewing up this Jets team offensively and defensively, and now are outscoring the Jets defense 24-11 in total points in this series right now. And Colton Parayko and Cam Fowler have 15 points combined in this series. So again, what I talked about between the first and the second period, not allowing those guys to exert their influence on the game. And even the second goal was Philip Broberg, who made that original play by driving down deep behind the net. Dylan DeMello lost coverage and he popped it out to what you guys were talking about to Nathan Walker, who, Niederreiter kind of flashed by him and then sat off the back post. So again, the St. Louis defense core is running the show, really, especially in this building against the Jets.
Yeah, and that fourth line in the second period, because on the Walker goal, the Fowler goal is when they're out there, and then the Toropchenko goal as well. So the St. Louis Blues in complete command, and while nothing is official, so don't rip up your tickets just yet if you were at the racetrack, but it is looking more and more like we are going to have a Game 7 in the NHL playoffs for the first time ever in Winnipeg come Sunday, unless there is some kind of miraculous comeback in the third period. We will continue the second intermission report here on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The job gets done at St. Andrews Parts and Power. The savings on Coyote subcompact tractors are big, big, big. Brad has stock of Coyote CS Series 2220 and CS 2520 tractors. Plus, get 2.99% for 72 months, a free loader, and $1,000 off. Get your Coyote subcompact tractor at St. Andrews Parts and Power, where you'll say, "That guy helped me."
And I can help you too at St. Andrews Parts and Power.
I'm Bailey Shikanik, Prairie Claims Manager for Ag Direct Hail Insurance. Our team of professional and polite hail adjusters have one goal: to thoroughly inspect your crop damage and get you a payment that accurately represents your loss. It's that simple, and why shouldn't it be? Having settled thousands of claims to the satisfaction of our customers, I am proud to lead the Ag Direct Hail Claims team. Visit agdirecthail.com or call us toll-free. We appreciate your business.
Winnipeg Jets exclusive coverage continues on 680 CJOB and CJKR 97.5 FM Power 97. Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
Hey, Jets fans, as most of you well know, there is nothing bigger than the Winnipeg Whiteout, and you can be there for every unforgettable moment by becoming a season ticket member today. Get access to playoff packages and pre-sales by visiting winnipegjets.com/memberships. I'm Kelly Moore, along with the coach John Rempel and the host of the CJOB Sports Show, Christian O'Mell. And Christian, the only question I had is that collapse was ongoing. When does Eric Comrie come in? And I don't think there's any doubt it'll be to start the third period.
Agreed. Absolutely. You take Hellebuck out now. We saw how I don't know if it helped him for Game 5, but you just get him out of there. You help him reset. This game feels over. And so now you've got a Game 7 where you're on home ice. They've been way better on home ice. The stats are terrible now. The numbers just keep getting worse for Hellebuck. 3 straight pulls on the road. His road stats are, putting together one of the worst road stretches in NHL history by a goaltender in the playoffs. And it's not all him for sure, but it's a lot, a lot of it's him. And it's really disappointing, right? He was just named a Hart Trophy finalist. We sung his praises, and then this happens, and it's just not helping the narrative at all of his postseason topsy-turviness.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is befuddling how a goaltender can look so good at home and on the road, especially during the regular season. And then you see this for 3 playoff series in a row. John Rempel, I want to go back to though that early goal in the second period by Morgan Barron and Mason Appleton clearly offside. How much do you say, Mason, you have to be more focused in a scenario like that, or is that hindsight's 2020?
I just think on that one, Kelly, I mean, Justin Falk tried to one-time that puck, one-touch it up when it came through the middle from Neil Pionk, kind of was off target, and it sort of, I think, Mason Appleton wasn't expecting that puck to move and come back as quickly because Barron corralled it. And I think that's from what I could see. I mean, I don't know. He was so far away from the play that I don't know whether he saw what was happening or whatever. That's a hard one to say, Kelly, but I guess, you gotta do your best to try to hang the line and hang that skate on the line. But that wasn't even close. That was probably almost a foot offside.
Right. That's why I clarified it with hindsight is 2020. So the anticipation of that play, and that's why I tried to couch the question that way, because hockey players certainly have instincts, but they can't be clairvoyants all of the time. So looking ahead to this third period, what kind of a conversation is going on right now, John? I mean, is it the old, let's gain some momentum back for Game 7, or do you even mention Game 7 in the dressing room?
I think you drill down and just talk about habits, Kelly. I mean, you look at the last goal that was scored there. I'm not sure what happened to Dylan DeMello. He looked absolutely frozen as that puck came around from Luke Shen, and he kind of just stood there and left it.
Yeah.
So that is not Winnipeg Jets hockey, obviously. So again, drilling down into the habits of, again, whatever's happening with the goaltender, none of us really quite know. None of us can figure it out. But whatever's happening, the team's now got to really solidify itself and drill down into the habits of what they want to carry forward and how they want to leave this game. Whatever the outcome ends up being, how do you want to leave this game? How do you want to carry yourself? Josh Morrissey, whether it was a penalty or not, he kind of got tangled up. He's frustrated. You could tell, kind of grabbed the St. Louis player around the neck. So things like that, that's very uncharacteristic of this team. So again, having some poise, having some maturity, and having the habitual things that have made this a President's Trophy team are really important in this third period.
All right, we shall watch for that. Christian O'Mell will join us as well for the post-game show of the St. Louis Blues, 20 minutes away from forcing a 7th and deciding game in this series, and they are enjoying the rewards of another laugher on home ice, up 5-1, going to the third period next on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Jets fans, playoff hockey is back, and there's nothing bigger than the Winnipeg Whiteout. You can be here for every unforgettable history-making moment by becoming a season ticket member today. Experience the Whiteout inside Canada Life Center, live and in person. Get access to playoff packages and pre-sales for round 2 and beyond by visiting winnipegjets.com/memberships today. That's winnipegjets.com/memberships.
Brett Vickery here with Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Spring is just around the corner, and so are those spring projects. We have specials on miter saws, table saws, track saws, and more to help you get the job done. Pick up a steel earth auger to drill those post holes, and the new Quick Drive Project Pro collated screw driving tool to put it all together. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, proudly Canadian.
You're always welcome here at Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, 1557 King Edward Street.
You need more laughter in your life. Get ready for a wild time at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, July 18th through 20th at Assiniboine Park. Get ready for a weekend packed with laughs from John Mulaney.
Wouldn't have happened on my watch.
Martin Short, Bert Kreischer, Theo Vaughn, Whitney Cummings, Jeremy Piven, Trailer Park Boys,
Decent,
Ms. Pat, Dusty Slay, and Laura Peak. Tickets on sale now at GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Club is expressly prohibited. This is Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast booth, which is for Namath Diamonds. For your diamond engagement rings, see Namath Diamonds, a family tradition of excellence in Southdale Square. Still 8 seconds remaining in the penalty to Logan Stanley, so the Blues will start this third period leading 5-1 with the man advantage. And Eric Comrie has come in to replace Connor Hellebuck for the third time in this series. He'll begin in the crease down to our right. Jets are flying from our broadcast right to left to start this third.
And we talked about how St. Louis in their own building throughout this series has been able to kind of grab momentum and then really just kind of take the game away from Winnipeg. Game 3, they had 3 goals in 5:08. Game 4, they had 3 goals in 8:08. Game 6 tonight, 4 goals in 5 minutes and 23 seconds. So obviously it's a team that kind of feeds off their crowd, feeds off the momentum that they're able to build, and it puts Winnipeg in a tough spot for sure.
So what Jets want to do is kill off this penalty. Tony Nato will take the draw, and he'll force the puck right off that face-off at center ice inside the Blues end. And now Leddy will backhand it in. It's stopped there by Winnipeg and sent back out towards center ice. Stanley's out of the penalty box, and he'll glide over toward that bench, and Winnipeg will get their other forward out there. 0 for 4 with the man advantage of the Blues tonight. Puck is shot inside that Winnipeg end. Luke Schenn with the puck. He'll move it ahead. Now for Dominic Tony Nato. Indirect now for Tanev. He'll just redirect it down inside that Blues end. 35 seconds have expired in this third period. Fans are chanting, and to the near side, beetling inside that Winnipeg end. Joseph snapped it toward the net. That went off a body. Winnipeg trying to rescue that to get it out, and it's chipped out instead by Parayko and out towards center ice. Possession retained by the Blues. They'll send it back inside that Winnipeg end. To the near side, Morrissey popped it into toward the middle. Now to the near side, Winnipeg will get it out. Taking a body check to do that is Barron. Sends it down off the stick of Appleton. He retrieves the puck, got some help from Niederreiter. Spins it around to the far side, but off the bench. One of the Blues came there. He got pushed against the boards by Barron. Puck is taken by Appleton. Got back up is Kyrou. He took that body check and he sprints out towards center ice. He'll drop it to the Jets line. Nobody was with him. And Winnipeg will send it off the boards and back out towards center ice. Intercepted by Braden Schenn and stuffed back inside that Winnipeg end.
Now Morgan Barron seems to just be getting better and better as this series goes on.
Nikolai Ehley's got tripped up, flying inside that Blues end. No penalty call. Rimmed around the boards, and the puck will fall back out towards center ice. Almost 2 minutes have expired in this third period. 5-1 St. Louis. Looking more and more like Game 7 is going to happen in this series. Logan Stanley is shot from the slot area. Got really no wood on that. It goes wide and kicked off the back wall and snatched there with the glove of Binnington. He'll hang on for a whistle, and we'll get a stoppage of play. Looking more and more like a Game 7 on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. And that will be the first ever Game 7 in Winnipeg in the history of this Winnipeg Jets franchise in the National Hockey League, and that is according to Kelly Moore.
Yeah, and obviously the one Game 7 that this iteration of the Winnipeg Jets has played in was back in 2018 when they put forth a tremendous effort in Nashville to beat the Predators, but obviously home ice brings a whole other aspect to it.
Back toward the line, Luke Schenn, far side for Connor. Connor darting into toward the corner. Connor still with the puck, trying to put it back out in front. That was blocked by Fowler. He has 10 points in this series. And back out in front, a quick shot by Velarde. Stop, rebound, and hammer time by Luke Schenn. He put that wide. Kyle Connor had a chance on that putback as well. Binnington a couple of saves. Pulled off the wall and centered out towards center ice. And Buchnevich will get it across the Jets line. Drop it back toward the line. Arcing off the boards. Thomas, high slot. Parayko shoots. Stopped by Comrie. And he'll hang on for whistle. 17:32 remaining in this third period. 5-1 Blues. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by JS Furniture, Namath Diamonds, and the Manitoba Physiotherapy Association.
And Mesnikov is slow to his feet now. I didn't quite see what happened to him as we were watching the play. He's skating off under his own power, but I believe there's looks like there's a cut because he's got the towel going right to his face, and see if he ends up going down the tunnel to the room or just stays on the bench.
Yeah, Rob Millette, the head athletic therapist, went out to get him, and now Brad Shaw, the assistant, will escort him down the tunnel. Had been Nemesnikov, likely for some repairs. Looked like it was in the face or nose area. Sometimes it's not a stick, it's the visor getting pushed down into your face that will lacerate your face.
Yeah, we'll see what it is here. And
it's a helmet of
Buchnevich.
Yeah, pushed into Nemesnikov by his own teammate in Velarde. So Buchnevich was sandwiched there, and it was an unsuspecting Nemesnikov that bore the brunt of that. Face off to the right of Comrie. And Winnipeg will win the draw. Brandon Tanev through the neutral ice. He'll flip it in. He goes after it, but he was hooked up by Braden Shen. Restrained, and Blues will send it around to the near side, and out towards center ice it goes. Settled down by Neighbors. Twists off a check of Tanev. Got it in deep inside the Winnipeg end. Spinning off a check. Here's DeMello. He'll move it ahead for Iafallo. He was all tied up. Should be icing. And it is against the Jets.
And of course, with Mark Scheifele already out, the last thing the Winnipeg Jets need is another center that isn't available. So you hope that Nemesnikov's able to make his way back out after getting some repairs done in the room. And Adam Lowry, kind of just by default at this point, just with everybody going down, is kind of your number one center.
17:05 remaining, third period. Back toward the line. Falk, right side point. Rims around. Back in behind the net for Thomas. Tried to get it out in front. Intercepted there by Iafallo. Moved it ahead swiftly. Here come the Jets flying through that neutral ice. Tony Nato across the line. Shoots. It's off his skate and wide. Bounced into where the corner. Appleton back toward the line. Pionk shooting. And it's gloved down by Binnington. And then Tony Nato went to the net. He gets hog-tied and thrown down. Now we're going to get a fight here as Morrissey and Falk are wrestling. The gloves have come off. Falk's on top of Morrissey, and everybody in toward the corner on the near side. A huge pile up after that. Winnipeg trying to protect their star defenseman. People pairing off. Linesmen are into it as well. As I don't know if those two wanted to fight or not. There's two sticks down and a pair of gloves. Or whether just Falk attacked Morrissey. Morrissey's had his helmet removed as well. We'll get a replay on that and tell you exactly what happened behind the play. But it all started with Tony Nato going toward the net and brushing up against Jordan Binnington.
Well, and you can imagine over the course of this series how kind of frustrating it has been for Josh Morrissey. And he's kind of been the primary target of the St. Louis Blues. He and Mark Scheifele and Justin Falk were kind of off to the side and exchanging a couple pushing and shoving situations, and then really it was only Morrissey that threw the gloves down, and Falk just kind of wrestled him downward. He kind of had that upper leverage, if you will. Morrissey wasn't quite able to get free. Just glad that Morrissey's all right, honestly, because Buchnevich and Tanev kind of piled right on top of them after they had already gone down to the ice, that being Morrissey and Falk.
3:14, the time of these penalties. We'll sort it all out. Here we go.
Winnipeg, number 44, 21, 74, 2 minutes each for roughing. St. Louis, 89, 74, 2 minutes each for roughing. Power play, St. Louis.
Well, I heard 3 apiece.
I heard 3 for Winnipeg, 2 for St. Louis.
Okay.
So
now they will put the penalty on the board.
But they got Tanev, Tony Nato, and Morrissey for Winnipeg. And I would imagine Falk, and I did not catch
I think it's Buchnevich.
Right, all for roughing, so it's another power play. But I think in that situation, it's Josh Morrissey just kind of standing up for himself, because he's taken a number of hits throughout this series and in this game, and eventually you just kind of got to throw down and get some frustration out.
So another power play here. They're 5th of the night for St. Louis. They're 0 for 4. So here come the Blues, leading 5-1 through the neutral ice. Snuggerud on the far side, and he tried to pass it off for Parayko, knocked back out and then back in. It's carried, and offside will be the call against the St. Louis Blues. So Morrissey, Tanev, and Tony Nato, Falk, and we believe Buchnevich, and that's exactly who it is. We just catch a glimpse of his name bar in the penalty box below us. So it's a power play for St. Louis, and the minor that is awarded on the power play is assessed to Josh Morrissey. Fowler backpedals back inside his own zone. Looked up ice and will drop it now. To the near side. Kyrou will take a pass. He'll snap it inside the Winnipeg end and roll around to the far side. Pulled off the wall by Braden Shen. Back toward the line for Fowler. Walks the line. Fowler's still with it. Far side. Back for Fowler. Slipped and fell, but he got back up and held the line. To the near side, Kyrou. Break one to the far side for Shen into where the slot. And that's knocked away. He fanned on it as well by Winnipeg. And then catapulted all the way down the ice by Kyle Connor. Over on the far side, orchestrating all of that as well, was Golden Parayko.
And St. Louis's power play, as we've gone on in this series, has kind of tried to look for that little slot play. It's almost like they're expecting the Jets penalty killers to sell out for those one-timer flank plays.
Morgan Barron give it away in a race back inside the Winnipeg end. Snuggerud back out in front, the backhand toward the net. Comrie made the save, and then spilling back in the back wall, and a little slow to get up is Sundqvist. Came back in, it's held at the line. Snuggerud up top now again. Broberg in toward the slot. Pass toward the net by Neighbors. Fanned on that, and it trickles into Comrie, and he'll make the save and hang on, and then Winnipeg will pull some bodies away from their goaltender. Still 26 seconds remaining in the penalty to Josh Morrissey. 15-12 to go in this third period. 5-1 St. Louis.
And that's another example of what we just talked about there, where another play comes over to Robert Thomas in that left circle, and he lines up as if he's going to take that one-timer, and as he's doing that, another member of the Blues in that middle ice position just kind of bumps his way out into space to try to get that one-timer opportunity from the hash marks.
Winnipeg will get it and spin it around all the way down. 20 seconds to go on the penalty to Morrissey. 5 minutes have expired in this third period. Fowler moved it ahead. Kyrou crossed the line. Lost the puck, but it stays inside the zone. Robert Thomas into where the corner. He'll swivel it around to the near side. Racing after it, a couple of Blues, couple of Jets. Iafolo trying to find it into some skates. He did. He forced it up to Lowry. Lowry got it out towards center ice. And now emerging out of the penalty box is Morrissey. 0 for 5 with the man advantage. Are the St. Louis Blues. They're 0 for their last 9 in this series. So that is a positive for the Winnipeg Jets on a night when there hasn't been many of them. Walker back inside his own zone. And back in behind his own net to seek the shelter and safety of behind his own goal is Leddy. Leddy up along the boards on the far side. Moved it ahead toward Checo. He has scored tonight. Scoots inside that Winnipeg end. Stops and starts. Rolls back in behind the net to the near side. Back toward the line. And it split the D. And Broberg reached for it. Couldn't hold it in. Back out towards center ice. Broberg will slap it right back in. Fished off the wall there behind his own net by Luke Shen. Had some problems with it. Two Blues are in on him. Shen will push a Blue down to the ice and go down as well. Sandberg with it. Rotates it around to the near side. Kyle Connor darts after it. Can't get to it. Back to the line. Leddy shoots. That floated wide. Bounced off the back wall. Velarde with it. Velarde tried to get it up along the boards. Nemestikov is back out there after having some repairs done on what we thought was some blood on his facial area, and it's sent all the way down by Winnipeg, and they'll make some changes.
Yeah, you mentioned the positive of the penalty kill. That's another positive right there that Vlad Nemestikov is back.
Parayko nudges it ahead now for Snuggerud. Weaves his way through that neutral ice. Navigates inside that Winnipeg end. Dropped it now for Neighbors. Cut toward the net. Shoots. And bounced off a body and wide. Snuggerud in the rebound. Into where the corner. Now Shen for Neighbors. Neighbors back toward the line. Held there, Suter. Suter up top for Neighbors. Chopped toward the net. And a floating puck back toward the goal. Absorbed in the crest nicely by Comrie, and he'll hang on for a whistle. 12:59 remaining in this third period. The score, St. Louis 5, Winnipeg 1. Back after these, you're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets. Playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Winnipeg, are you whiteout ready? Choose hometown pride. Choose 1919. Brewed by Little Brown Jug, Manitoba's flagship beer since 2016. Here's to building something memorable.
For fun and reliability you can count on, your one-stop battery source is Canadian-owned Prairie Battery.
Prairie Battery is family-owned and operated, providing reliable and trusted battery power. When you want true power, come see Prairie Battery and the Prairie Battery team, or visit us at prairiebattery.ca.
When you need batteries for industrial, commercial, auto, recreational, marine RVs, and more, it can only be prairiebattery.ca.
If it sounds too good to be true, well, you know the rest. But I get it. Some deals sound tempting, like this guy.
These prices are insane! The boss has lost his mind!
When it comes to your home's heating system, do you really want to do business with a company that resorts to gimmicks like this? You could call them and see what they are really offering, and then give Mr. Furnace a call. In fact, they encourage you to call around and get quotes first, and then call Mr. Furnace. You'll see why. Give it a try. Call 204-832-6243.
Hey, this is Cole Perfetti, and you're listening to Winnipeg Jets Hockey with Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton on 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg Jets Hockey is brought to you in part by Reliable Heating and Air Conditioning, Prairie Battery, and Jacuzzi, Manitoba. 5-1 St. Louis, face off to the right of Eric Comrie. Just under 13 minutes remaining in this third period. Comrie, his third appearance in this series. All in St. Louis, all in relief of Connor Hellebuck. Hellebuck did not come out to start the third period after playing the first 40 minutes. Puck is sent out towards center ice. Winnipeg will grab that with a glove. And back in behind the play, Toropchenko mouthing there with Stanley. Stanley pushes Toropchenko away. Linesmen have moved in. They're going to call penalties on both those two players. And I wonder if it will be minors or misconducts here. And we've seen a lot of those. The Jets have had 10 misconducts assessed to them in this series already.
Yeah, exactly. And right now they're just focused on keeping them apart.
64, St. Louis 13, 10 minutes each, misconduct.
Make it 11.
The other part of that is sometimes you try to give the misconducts just to get the players out of the game just to prevent anything from happening. The problem is there's still 12:50 left. So both of these players will be able to come back, but you just kind of, I guess, hope that cooler heads prevail. Stanley just didn't like Toropchenko throwing the hit on Nikolai Ehlers, and they just kind of talked their whole way from the bottom of the circle right into the neutral zone. And Toropchenko, of course, from the St. Louis side of things, doesn't really feel any reason to engage, and Logan Stanley's standing up for a teammate there. Oh, something's going on here.
Yeah, over by that Blues bench and down. And Jim Montgomery is yelling. He's right at the front of the bench and at the gate.
It's an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah. And he's being told by one of our officials here in Peter McDougall that he needs to get somebody in to the penalty box. And I believe the unsportsmanlike conduct is going to the Blues. So the Jets will go on a power play.
Yeah, and Montgomery is adamant about something. I don't know if the officials heard something. So it didn't look like there was much going on. And then all of a sudden, I believe it was their assistant coach, Steve Ott, that started throwing his hands in the air, wondering what was going on. So I don't really know what occurred over there, but obviously the officials know better than we would in that situation. But a power play for Winnipeg coming out of this.
So it's Braden Shen to the penalty box. I don't know if he took the penalty or if he's serving it.
Yeah, the referee's mic was kind of late in terms of picking up. He had started talking, and then all of a sudden you could hear it in the building. So Not sure.
So the Jets are on the power play. Morrissey slap shot, stop, rebound, guarded away nicely by Parayko, rimmed around, stopped by Morrissey. Far side again, and now we're going to get a stoppage of play. Is that slap shot and save went off the mask of Binnington, and I believe one of the clasps, one of the snaps, dislodged, so they blow that down. The Jets are on the Prairie Battery power play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. Winnipeg on power play number 4. They're 1 for 3 tonight, trailing 5-1, 12:39 remaining in this third period.
Yeah, Binnington, as anybody would, Binnington looked a little shook after that. He was kind of put his arm down on the ice just to balance himself, but looks fine.
Jets with a draw up top. Morrissey, far side for Connor, down low. Backdoor, and then ricocheted on a pass by Perfetti off one of the Blues and just wide. Velarde tried to hold the line. He did. He chipped it back in behind the net. Swaying after it. There is Binnington. He'll leave it for his defenseman. It's sent out toward the line. Trying to knock that down with his hands was Velarde. It had a lot of velo on it, off the stick of Parayko, and it does fall out towards center ice. Morrissey swings back inside his own zone. Morrissey will glide in front of his own net and then pass the puck rink wide to the far side. Velarde cast it back inside his own zone. Connor, nice drop for Cole Perfetti. He hunts down inside that Blues end. Dropped it for Velarde. Put it back toward the line. Broken up. Sundqvist 2-on-2. Slides inside that Winnipeg end. Shooting! And it just grazed off the glove of Comrie and wide. Bounced off the back wall and falls all the way back down inside that Blues end. So still 45 seconds remaining in the penalty to Braden Shen as he's serving the penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And Winnipeg on power play number 4. Sliding out towards center ice. Pionk, far side Appleton across the line. Back toward the line now for Nemestikov. Got it toward the near side for Iafolo. Shoots it around back and behind the net for Niederreiter. Niederreiter for Appleton. Rimmed it around to the near side of the hash for Iafolo. Iafolo will duck and check, put it back toward the line. Far side slap shot. They score! Nemestikov with a slap shot, partially stopped there by Binnington and poked in over the line by Niederreiter. His second goal of the series. It's a power play goal, and it's 5-2 for St. Louis.
Yeah, really good puck movement here by the Winnipeg Jets. Kind of sets up that one-timer for Vlad Nemestikov from the top of the right circle. I believe it goes off a member of the Blues, and so it's kind of a redirection that Jordan Binnington had to react to, and he got a piece of it, but puck ends up getting behind him and sat on the goal line, and Nino Niederreiter just dove at it and gave it a swat. Knocked it into the back of the net. So 2 power play goals for Winnipeg in this game, with 11:06 left to go here in the third.
8:54, the time of the goal. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. 11 minutes to go now, and off the ensuing faceoff, sent down inside of that St. Louis Blues end. Flipped out by Nick Leddy. Onto the stick of Snuggerud. Fired inside that Winnipeg end. Went a little too high. It drifts into the meshing, falls back into the ice surface. We'll get a stoppage of play. 10:52 remaining in this third period. 5-2 for the St. Louis Blues. And did the two captains come together at that face-off? And did the captain of Winnipeg maybe get the better with a little stick work on the captain of the Blues?
Yeah, it looked like Adam Lowry got the upper hand there, and Braden Shen kind of had to cover the back of his head. Mason Appleton and Vlad Nemestikov, as expected, pick up the assist on the Nino Niederreiter goal.
Winnipeg quickly out towards center ice and a face-off win. Softly sent down by Barron down inside that Blues end. He'll go after the puck, try to pull it off the wall. Lost it to Leddy. Leddy can't get it out to the near side. Spinning off a check is Joseph. Arcing off the boards inside his own zone. He'll drop it for Leddy. Now Leddy will leave it again for Joseph. Rink wide on the far side. Moved ahead. Suter off a stick, and it slides back into the Winnipeg end right on top of Comrie. Moved up along the wing, and Luke Shen becomes engaged back in behind the plays. He made the play up along the boards to Walker. And Walker out towards center ice will try to move it in. It does slide inside that Winnipeg end. Morrissey back in behind his own net. Got by a check. Indirect to the near side for Kyle Connor. Rink wide to the far side now for Sandberg. Sandberg up along the boards for Velarde. One touched inside that Blues hand. Wrapped around the boards to the near side by Sundqvist and punched back out towards center ice. Under 10 minutes remaining in this third period. 5-2 St. Louis. Velarde back inside his own zone. DeMello indirect to the far side for Nemesnikov. Slides inside the zone, backwards but had control of the puck. Backhands it into where the corner. Goes after with a couple other Jets. Pass back in behind the net for Fowler. Rimmed around there, trying to hold the line was DeMello. It goes into where the middle of the ice and sprinting out towards center ice is Thomas. A bouncing puck, trying to get it ahead for Snuggerud. Settled down nicely by Morrissey. Advanced over to the far side. DeMello and out towards center ice it goes. 9:20 remaining in this third period. 5-2 for the Blues.
Kyle Connor was back covering on D on that last sequence. Made a nice little play on a one-on-one to break up a Blues rush.
Tony Nato, cross-ice pass. Tried to get it there for Niederreiter, broken up but following up and wristing that puck inside the zone from the red line is Neil Pionk. Winnipeg will send 3 in on it and try to free it up. They do. Back toward the line for Sandberg. Shot off a body. Rebound. Grab by Appleton. Back toward the line. Sandberg shooting. Off a stick of Tony Nato just wide. Kept in by Neil Pionk. Into where the corner. He ducked the check. Curled back in behind the net. Put it back toward the line for Sandberg. Kennedy on the far side for Appleton. Wristed toward the net. Stopped by Bennington. Kicked it into where the corner. And a great body check there. Tony Nato absolutely unloaded on Broberg. Back toward the line. Shot is stopped. It went wide, put into the net by Niederreiter. Whistle's going to sound, and then another pile up back in behind the net. Neighbors came in to grab Tony Nato, gave him a few shots, and they've escorted one of the Jets to the penalty box already in Appleton. Now one of the linesmen flies back into the fray, back in behind the Blues net. And Niederreiter got engaged. They went after Tony Nato for the lick that he put on Broberg.
And I think Mason Appleton is the one that he threw a whack in at Braden Shen along the wall. And Shen was kind of holding his arm. He's still kind of taking a look at it right now.
So more penalties to be sorted out.
Yeah, this will be when the notepad comes out again. Pretty much everybody on the ice was involved in that one.
And we'll take a timeout on the ice, into the same on your radio, and straighten it all out. 8.5 remaining in this third period. 5-2 for the Blues. Back after these, you're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97, 680 CJOB.
At Namath Diamonds, we know our diamonds. But what we do better than that is find the right one that makes you say,
I love it.
I'm Joe Namath, and my family has been helping people find the perfect diamonds for over 30 years. Whether you're looking for engagement rings, custom jewelry, or repairs, we're here to help you. Because hearing,
this is amazing,
never gets old. Come see us today, and we'll show you why Namath Diamonds can't be beat. Namath Diamonds in Southdale Square.
If you got pain in your... Do you go to just anybody, or do you want to take your... to the best? Yeah, you go with the top guy, like Dr. Jay Buenafé. He is one of the top...
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is TSI Mike, and now that we've got your attention, we're bringing you every single game of the NBA and NHL playoffs while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's grow our global community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and join the action.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Playoff Pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to SickKids for their life-saving treatments and research. We're aiming for 100,000 insiders to boost our impact. So subscribe now and be a part of this incredible movement. Holy Mackinac! Let's show SickKids Hospital we're here for them. Join us today.
Hey you, yeah you, Easton Cowan, Leafs prospect here.
I'm loving these Playoff Pulse live hangouts. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch every game. Keep the chat buzzing, and let's cheer for SickKids together. See you in the chat.
Blues win the draw, get it back toward the line, but it split the D, and chasing it back down inside his own zone is Fowler. Back inside his own zone, pass didn't connect. Now scooped up here by Thomas. Dropped at his own line for Buchnevich. To the near side for Snuggerud. Now hopping inside the zone. Thomas. Back for Buchnevich. Far side for Bolduc. Bolduc will glide in toward the corner. Put it back toward the line. Intercepted by Snuggerud. Put back down toward the line for Fowler. In toward the corner for Thomas. Back for Fowler. Shoots at the side of the net. Almost a pass to Snuggerud. Couldn't get a backhand on it. Snuggerud will capture the puck in toward the corner. Try to put it back in behind the net. Intercepted by Sandberg. And he'll wrist it all the way down the ice.
It's well done positionally by Winnipeg on that penalty kill, not really allowing anything through the middle of the ice. St. Louis tried a backdoor kind of slap pass play, but failed to connect.
Parayko crunched against the boards on the near side as he dumped it in. He removes the helmet of Neil Pionk, and there's going to be a roughing call against Colton Parayko.
Yeah, that would be consistent with what we've seen throughout the series. Anytime a helmet comes off, that's usually a call.
55 minor penalty for roughing.
So the Jets, in 52 seconds, will get to go on a power play. And that'll be their fifth, barring any other infractions. I say that because we could have 4 more penalties before the 52 seconds are up, but it's a 4-on-4 situation. The Jets have Stanley, Niederreiter, Appleton all in the penalty box. And the Blues have Falk, Parayko, Neighbors, and Toropchenko there.
Lots going on in those penalty boxes. It reminds me of the regular season game in Nashville all those years ago where it was party in the penalty box that night.
Winnipeg will win the draw, 4-on-4. DeMello shoots from the point. That went wide, just over the net, actually. Off a stick, grabbed by Broberg. He scored tonight for Buchnevich. He'll put it back in behind his own net. Trying to get out is Fowler. Just about got stick lifted by Iafolo, but stays on it. Got the puck to the near side for Thomas. Back into the middle for Buchnevich. He turned it over the Jets line, but following up is Thomas. He took it away from Iafolo. Dances into the corner. Trying to put it out in front, and he put it off the shin pad of Buchnevich. It goes into the corner. Settled down by DeMello. Far side for Sandberg, and he'll slide to the side of his net. Both teams want to change. 6:40 remaining in the third. 5-2 St. Louis.
And obviously for Winnipeg, you're going to want to take advantage of this short, abbreviated power play that you have. You get yourself within 2 with a handful of minutes left.
Jets are on the power play. Quickly through that neutral ice and inside that St. Louis end is Ehlers for Connor. Connor converged on by a couple of Blues, lost the puck, and they will slam it the distance and get it back inside that Winnipeg end. Jets are on the power play for Prairie Battery. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. Out towards center ice. Broken up. Now to the near side. Moving in. Sundqvist shoots. Short side just missed. Broken up on a nice play on the far side. Then skedaddling back in was Matthew Joseph to the near side for Oscar Sundqvist. And he just missed short side. Back comes Winnipeg. We haven't had a short-handed goal in this series. Into the corner on the far side, back out in front. Velarde waiting for it. And the puck got by him. Diving out to hold the line, Pionk. Far side for Perfetti. Into the corner for Connor. Back toward the line, Pionk. Settled it down. Back on the hash on the far side again for Connor. Connor twisting and turning to the near side. Ehlers. Ehlers back up top. Pionk. Far side. Connor shoots. And he fired it wide. Captured into the corner. And Ehlers. Cross-ice pass off the stick of Joseph. And it flies into the seats. And out of play it goes. 3 seconds remaining in the power play. The 5th for the Jets tonight. They're 2 for 4. 3 seconds remaining in that penalty to Parayko.
And once Winnipeg was able to get themselves established in the zone, they moved the puck around quite well. But you can just see over the course of this game the challenge of not having your regular power play personnel, especially the ones that kind of run that route up ice. Usually it's Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor that are able to kind of run that neutral zone weave and drop pass. And a lot of that runs on timing and knowing and reading off the other player, of knowing if that drop is coming or if they're hanging on to it and passing strong side. And you can just tell looks a little bit discombobulated when it comes to those zone entries for Winnipeg.
5:25 remaining, third period. Face off to the right of Binnington. And Winnipeg will win it back toward the line. Neil Pionk slings it toward the net. Glove down by Binnington. He'll hang on for a whistle. Still face off inside the zone. And the penalty will be over. And we'll take a timeout on the ice and do the same on your radio. 5:20 to go in the third. 5-2 St. Louis. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio, home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Hey Jets fans, get ready for the Winnipeg Whiteout with Jets gear and TrueNorthShop.com. Choose from a huge variety of official Winnipeg Jets Whiteout apparel, headwear, novelties, and more. Need a new white hat, t-shirt, pants, or a jersey? We've got you covered.
Moving in, shooting, score!
Shop online at TrueNorthShop.com or by visiting one of our Jets gear store locations.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
The job gets done at St. Andrews Parts and Power. The savings on Coyote subcompact tractors are big, big, big. Brad has stock of Coyote CS Series 2220 and CS 2520 tractors. Plus, get 2.99% for 72 months, a free loader, and $1,000 off. Get your Coyote subcompact tractor at St. Andrews Parts and Power, where you'll say, that guy helped me.
And I can help you too at St. Andrews Parts and Power.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Jet fans, show us how you celebrate the Winnipeg Jets Whiteout, presented by Princess Auto, for a chance to win tickets to a 2025 playoff game. Show the Jets how you do the Whiteout with decorations, costumes, or any other way you cheer on the Jets at winnipegjets.com/whiteoutmania for a chance to win tickets or to be featured in team content. 5:20 remaining, third period. 5-2 St. Louis. They scored 3 goals in 2 minutes and 6 seconds to really tilt the game in their favor in the second period. They added one more. The only goal in this third off the stick of Niederreiter as he poked a loose puck on the goal line home. And Winnipeg's had a decent third period, but almost an insurmountable lead in tightly contested, tight-checking playoff hockey, and especially on the road.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all about habits in the third period. Like, obviously, if the opportunities presented themselves and you were able to get back into it, that's great, but for Winnipeg, it's about stacking the chips together, making them look good, getting the game right, heading into Game 7.
Morrissey will coming around the boards into the corner. Back out in front. Lowry couldn't handle that. Neil Pionk winds it and fires. He put that wide, and then it bounced off of the back wall to Morrissey, off his shin pads, back into Binnington, who will glove that down and hang on for a whistle. Shots on goal 27-19 for St. Louis. Shots on goal totals are for Dr. J's Men's Sexual Health Clinic. Need to perform better in the bedroom? See the top-rated doctor on Google and RateMD. Visit Dr. J at WinnipegClinic.com.
That Neil Pionk shot, I think, went off of a stick just after he let it go. Nikolai Ehlers had to almost Matrix style to get underneath it. It was kind of got redirected right towards his head.
Falk will float it out towards center ice. Sandberg leads his way back into the corner on the far side, trying to escape a check. He does and goes rink wide to the near side for Lowry. He hops inside that Blues end, put a weak shot toward the net. And Binnington will glove that down and hang on for whistle. 4:45 remaining in the third period. 5-2 for the Blues. By the way, Game 7 looking more and more like a reality on Sunday at 6. And Game 7 Street Party and Party in the Plaza tickets will go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Fans can still get last-minute game tickets as they are released over the coming days, right up until puck drop. Text playoffs to 1-888-606-JETS. That's 5387 to sign up for alerts. St. Louis up along the boards, trying to get it out. Velarde will steal that. Velarde to the near side for Morrissey. Back into where the slot, off a good active stick. Settled down again by Parayko. And bounced down inside that Winnipeg end. Icing will be the call against St. Louis. 4:28 remaining in the third period. 5-2 for the Blues, and it'll just be probably clock management again for St. Louis at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And Winnipeg's going to pull their goalie here and see if they can generate anything. Though, when they've had the man advantage, Winnipeg's created some dangerous looks, and so why not take the opportunity with just under 4.5 minutes left here in the third period, see if you can't generate something quickly.
Velarde will take the draw to the left of Binnington against Robert Thomas. A 6-on-5 with the net empty for Winnipeg and the extra attacker. Scrambled face-off right on the dot, trying to carve it away. Are the Jets? They do. They win that battle. Morrissey down along the boards. Morrissey into where the corner fires, and it bounced off the blocker of Binnington. Goes loose back in behind the net. Rattled around the boards there by Ehlers for Morrissey. Tried to get it into where the slot. That was broken up to the empty net. A shot goes wide. Icing will be the call against St. Louis.
And Josh Morrissey was all over the ice that shift, and kind of had the initial chance coming down the left side, trying to pick that short side top corner over Binnington's right shoulder, but ends up catching the side netting and gets that puck back, and eventually the puck makes its way back to him, and he finds himself getting over into the slot.
Darting into where the corner, Kyle Connor looked like he took a high stick, and he did. And there'll be a penalty coming up to the Blues now, and well, it gets more interesting with 4 minutes remaining. Robert Thomas will take the infraction. So the Jets go on power play number 6. Thomas for a high sticking. Winnipeg 2 for 5 with a man advantage. And the Jets of the power play for Prairie Battery. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca.
No real opportunity, obviously, for a timeout, as Winnipeg had used it already in this game. I wondered if they might put Comrie back in, just because St. Louis can send that puck down the ice with no fear of an icing call, but looks like they're going to stay and try to go 6-on-4. So obviously a big face-off here for Velarde.
Velarde, Connor, Ehlers, Perfetti, Pionk, and Morrissey to the left of Binnington. It's a 3-goal lead for St. Louis with 4 minutes remaining. Winnipeg will win the draw. Up top, Neil Pionk. Far side again for Morrissey. He will walk the line. Now put it to the far side for Connor. Back door for Ehlers, and a chip shot toward the net. He put it wide. Captured again on that first touch for Winnipeg. Back up top for Morrissey to the near side. Hash for Pionk. Pionk will survey, rolls off the board, stops, top of the circle. Back up top for Morrissey, winds and fires. And it's into the glove of Binnington. He'll catch that and hang on for a whistle.
Well, Nikolai Ehlers has certainly had his looks over the course of this game. He had the 2-on-1 with Perfetti where he kept and had a couple of shots on goal there, and had this backdoor play as well, along with a couple other looks on the power play. So he's definitely been impactful in his return. He's 12:47 of ice time and 3 shots on goal so far in this game.
Face off to the right of Binnington. Blues win the draw. Parayko along the boards, but not out. Kept in by Pionk. Up top again for Morrissey. Morrissey surveys, far side for Connor, top of the circle. Connor, Swain, put it back down low for Perfetti. Perfetti around the boards, into the corner for the near side. And Ehlers back toward the line. Morrissey up top, far side, Connor. Connor will skate away from some traffic. Back out in front, Velarde banging away at it. Stop with the right pad of Binnington. And it's loose to the side of the net. And they're going to blow it down.
You don't see Gabriel Velarde miss very often from that spot. But Binnington, reading that play, just kind of laid that right pad down and made sure it was able to get to that post as quickly as possible if Winnipeg tried to go cross ice, and that's exactly what they did. And yeah, Velarde just not quite able to elevate that puck quick enough to get it over that pad.
Lowry will take the draw to the right of Bennington. 3:04 remaining in this third period. And the Blues win it. Rimmed around the boards on the far side by Suter, but not out. Kept in nicely by Morrissey for Lowry. For Velarde, rolled it around to the near side for Ehlers. Poked it back as he dove out for Pionk. Up top now for Morrissey. Back for Pionk. Up top again, Morrissey. Far side for Connor. Connor standing there. He'll play it down low. Lowry back out in front. And it ricocheted off the shin pads of Pionk. Captured again by Winnipeg. Slap shot for the point by Morrissey. Stopped by Bennington. Rimmed around to the near side. Glove down by Pionk. Tried to slide it cross ice. Broken up by Suter. Pushed ahead for Walker. Out towards center ice it goes. 20 seconds to go in a power play. Winnipeg still with the net empty. Across the line. Whipped toward the net by Ehlers. That was high and wide toward the empty net. It's sent all the way down. And that goes wide. So icing washed out because the Blues are shorthanded. Gliding back in behind his own net, Neil Pionk to pick it up. Pionk to center ice. 3 seconds to go in the power play. Pionk moves in, shoots. It's off a stick. And it cascades into the meshing. And out of play it goes. Under 2 minutes remaining in this third period. Winnipeg now 2 for 6 with the man advantage. Thomas out of the penalty box. 5-2 St. Louis.
Yeah, all kinds of possession time for Winnipeg. They were able to get some good puck retrievals as well, but Jordan Binnington pretty much had the answer for everything Winnipeg threw at them. I like the shot mentality from Josh Morrissey, who let a few go, and his most recent shot was almost against the grain. Binnington was sliding over to the left post, and it was his right pad that was still on the ice, even though it was going the other way, that made the stop.
Winnipeg back toward the line. They control. Still with a 6-on-5 now, the net empty. Perfetti, far side. Saucer pass up top for Sandberg. For Iafolo, back for Sandberg. One-timer stopped by Bennington. He hands it off to Toropchenko, who will shuttle it all the way down the ice, and it won't have enough for icing. 1:35 remaining in the third period. 5-2 for St. Louis. Skipping through the neutral ice, Perfetti ducks inside the zone. Perfetti, rink one on the far side. Now for Appleton, trying to get it back out in front. Bounced off a couple of bodies. Grabbed by Falk, sent all the way down. Icing will be the call against St. Louis.
Winnipeg keeping the pressure up, doing everything that they can. I mean, you don't mind the reps, I guess. You'd rather not be in this situation of a 6-on-5 trying to find ways to score, but you never know. Maybe on a delayed penalty in Game 7, there's an opportunity where 6-on-5 comes, but yeah, they've had all the zone time that they could ask for over the course of this last 3.5 minutes, but was not able to beat Binnington.
Face off to the right of Binnington. Scared along the boards, but popped back out toward the side of the slot. Ejected with a backhand by St. Louis out towards center ice. 1:09 remaining. Slapped in by Ehlers. Too hot to handle for Binnington back in behind the net. Carved off the boards by Connor. Trying to get it back in behind the net. That's broken up. Under a minute to go now. Fans are on their feet. Out towards center ice. Velarde prevented Shen from shooting the puck toward the empty net. Lowry carves his way inside the zone. Broken up by Broberg. Wrister toward the empty net. That's going to go wide. And another icing call against the Blues. 42 seconds remaining in this third period.
Well, for Winnipeg, if you're looking for something to bring into Game 7, the fact that they came out and so far are winning this third period 1-0. And obviously St. Louis has kind of turned the offense off for the most part. They're just kind of sitting back trying to clog the neutral zone, but it's the good habits that we talked about at the start of the third.
Pionk backhand from the left side point, blocked in front. And that was hit with a high stick to the advantage of the Blues. We'll do it again. 36 seconds remaining in the third period. Blues by 3, so 6 o'clock Sunday night. Game 7 in Winnipeg for the first time historically in the NHL, and the franchise of 1.20 or 1.0 and 2.0. And Winnipeg, Ehlers back toward the line. Morrissey wasn't expecting that. Slides by him and all the way down. 30 seconds remaining in the hockey game. So a historic night. Winnipeg will try to make it so on Sunday as well in Game 7. This series will go the distance. Tumbled inside that Blues head. 19 seconds to go. Home team has won every game. Slap shot for the point by Pionk. Bounced off a body. Gathered up by Lowry. Put back out in front. Swatted away. 10 seconds to go. Will that trend continue with the home team winning? The Jets certainly hope so. 3 seconds. That'll do it. Game 7, Sunday in downtown.
Well, once again, Winnipeg will like about half of their game here in St. Louis. 1-1 and about halfway through the game. But once again, it's an offensive surge by the St. Louis Blues that turns a 1-1 game into a 5-1 game. And obviously too big of a deficit for Winnipeg to be able to come back from. But you have to regroup quickly for Game 7 Sunday.
Well, they worked so hard through the regular season in 82 games to get home ice advantage. They'll hope that it's an advantage on Sunday at 6 o'clock. The Blues are perfect at home. 15 straight wins. 3 in a row in the postseason. Winnipeg will hope to make it 4 straight wins in the postseason on Sunday. The Blues rally for a big win tonight in Game 6. The final score, the St. Louis Blues 5, the Winnipeg Jets 2. Totals in the post-game show are coming up next. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
You are listening to Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
In today's business world, hiring and retaining staff is a challenge, but Chambers Plan Employee Benefits gives you an edge. A solid benefits plan can be the deciding factor for job seekers. 30,000 Canadian businesses agree. Chambers Plan gives you the flexibility to offer comprehensive benefits with affordable, stable premiums. See how Chambers Plan can benefit your business at buychambers.ca. That's BUYchambers.ca.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic. The most domestic choice.
You know what goes well with pizza from Santa Lucia Pizza. They've been the leaders in quality since 1971, and now they just keep winning award after award after award. So, sounds like they know a thing or two about making tasty pizza. How about this? When you're getting ready on game day, choose one of Santa Lucia Pizza's many specials or combos and find out why time and time again it's listed as Manitoba's favorite pizza.
Santa Lucia Pizza. It's all about the sauce.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
The game might be over, but the coverage continues on the official Winnipeg Jets postgame show on 680 CJOB.
Well, I guess it's only fitting for how competitive the Central Division was this year that the only 2 first-round series that will go the distance both feature all Central Division matchups. Dallas and Colorado tomorrow night at American Airlines Arena. And then, of course, the Winnipeg Jets back home at Canada Life Center on Sunday to host the St. Louis Blues after a 5-2 St. Louis victory here in Game 6 to keep the Homers label firmly attached to this series. And just to provide some kind of context, the Jets have outscored the Blues 12-7 at Canada Life Center. At the Enterprise Center, 17-5 is how it reads in favor of the St. Louis Blues. Morgan Barron scheduled to join us for our post-game show. Let's recap while we await his arrival. The Jets, a very solid start to this hockey game. They did not allow a shot attempt until the 6-minute and 5-second mark. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a goal. Philip Broberg being able to sneak one inside the right post with Pavel Buchnevich all over Connor Hellebuck in the crease area. But I guess the feeling was Dylan Sandberg helped put him there. No goaltender interference was called. The Jets took a 30-second timeout to take a longer look at it, decided not to challenge, and so the goal stood. Broberg, his first of the series from Thomas and Snuggerud. It stayed 1-0 Blues until the 5:43 mark of the second period. Actually, we thought 29 seconds into the second period, perhaps the game was tied, but brilliant effort by Morgan Barron was nullified when it was ruled that Mason Appleton was clearly offside. However, the Jets on a power play. Cole Perfetti capped out at the right side post, whacked at the puck once, twice, and on the third time was rewarded for his first ever playoff goal from Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey, and that tied it 1-1. Nikolai Ehlers with a couple of great chances on a partial breakaway. Jordan Bennington stones him twice with the right pad. 2 minutes later, Nathan Walker left all alone in front of the Winnipeg net defensive zone coverage breakdown. Philip Broberg had made the pass in front to him for the primary assist. Justin Falk also picking up a helper. Walker's third goal of the series after scoring twice in Winnipeg in Game 5, and the Blues had a lead they would never relinquish. 52 seconds later, Braden Shen coming down the right side beats Connor Hellebuck low to the glove side. We'll complete the summary in a moment. Let's head back to St. Louis. Morgan Barron standing by with Paul Edmonds.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. Morgan, we appreciate you taking the time. Your thoughts on this game, because it looked pretty well a game that you guys would have liked to start this hockey game until, well, the quick strike offense prevented you from kind of moving forward in that second period. Oh, nobody there? Oh, nothing yet? Okay, we were told, Kelly, that we had Morgan Barron downstairs ready to go, but he is maybe delayed. Kind of the way it went tonight, so you can continue on that summary.
I will continue on with the summary. I will toss back to you the minute Morgan is with us. Oh, sounds like Morgan Barron is perhaps on the headset now, Paul.
Hello? Yeah, he's ready to go.
Okay.
Morgan, thanks a lot for taking the time. Let's assess this one. You probably would have liked your game for the first period and a chunk of the second, but the quick strike offense of St. Louis Blues tilted the game in their favor in the second period. And was that the undoing?
Yeah, it was just that stretch of 5-10 minutes, whatever it was there. Obviously, you give up a few goals, and then you're kind of chasing from behind and not playing the way you want to play. So, it just can't happen.
What can you take from this game, if anything, into your game on Sunday in Game 7? Because obviously you worked so hard in the regular season, it might be the home ice advantage that you will take out of this, knowing that the home team's won every game in this series.
Yeah, I think it's the same message as the other day when it was a 2-3 and we had home ice. Now it's a one-game series. We're going to go home, and it's a great opportunity for us to win a game in front of our crowd and put together a full 60 minutes and advance to the next round. So it's going to be a tall task, but like I said, a great opportunity for us.
Morgan, the camera flashed to the bench while the coach's challenge was being had on your goal. It looked like you grimaced. Did you see on the replay that it was going to be pretty evident that goal was not going to be allowed? Because it was an absolute beauty.
Yeah, it was offside, so it is what it is.
Yeah, but you knew that right away, though, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you gain something by not quitting, by continuing to compete in that third period when the result was what it was?
Well, that's what we do. I think it's it's part of our job. We're not just going to throw in the towel. So, that's not the group we are, and I think you'll see that again in Game 7. We're going to come back out and compete again. So, not the result we wanted, but we're still going to stick to our process.
And Morgan, just one for me on the penalty kill. You guys kill off all their power plays tonight and have done so for the last couple of games here. Just what has clicked on the penalty kill? What adjustments? I don't know if you can really get into specifics, but what have you liked about what the penalty kill has been able to accomplish over the last couple of games here?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, a few changes. I still think we kind of made some mistakes out there tonight, but our goalies came up for us when we needed them there. So. I don't know. We'll try to keep it rolling for Game 7.
Morgan, I can hear the disappointment in your voice here, but you guys have done a real good job of picking yourselves up off the carpet, off the mat when you've had to, and I guess that's the attitude going in, and you should be buoyed by the fact that you've done it so successfully this year so many times.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're 5 minutes since getting off the ice here, so obviously it's kind of a bitter taste in our mouths, but, we got a day, 2 days here to regroup, and we'll be ready to go when the puck drops there on Sunday, so, yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Morgan Barron from downstairs, Kelly.
Yeah, and Paul, that's the difficult part of this. When it's off a win, it's very easy to come and talk candidly. When it's off a loss, there has to be an appreciation for an athlete who has just given what he has for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden you have to ask him about falling well short. So I get all of that 100%. We were just talking about the goal by Braden Shen that beat Connor Hellebuck. Glove hand side from Jake Neighbors and Ryan Suter. That one came just 52 seconds after the Walker goal that snapped the 1-1 tie. And then Cam Fowler is allowed to get open in the high slot. His second goal of the series, just 2:06 after Walker had scored. So, as Paul had been mentioning, 3 goals in a 126-second span. And for Fowler, a goal of note, it gave him 10 points in the series, the first St. Louis defenseman in franchise history to hit double digits in one series, breaking the record previously held by Al McInnes and Joe Micheletti. And then it was also the first time that a St. Louis player had been in double digits since Doug Waite in 2003. Parayko and Toropchenko. Boy, that fourth line for St. Louis. They led that charge in the second period. That made it 4-1. Alexei Toropchenko made it 5-1. A rim by Luke Shen for Dylan DeMello. I'm still mystified as to how all that broke down because DeMello got caught just kind of standing in the corner wondering where the puck was. Meanwhile, Toropchenko is able to take the pass from Radek Faksa and wire one past Connor Hellebuck on the stick side this time. That one came with 3:03 left in the second period, but Scott Arniel and the coaching staff waited to replace Connor Hellebuck until the intermission. Eric Comrie came in and was able to stop the 4 shots that he faced. Nino Niederreiter, with his second goal of the series, was able to jam home a loose puck after Mason Appleton and Vlad Nemesnikov had set him up for the Jets' second power play goal of the year, of the night, rather. The power plays for Prairie Battery, your one-stop battery source, Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned, prairiebattery.ca. And the shots on goal wound up at 27-23 for St. Louis, 12-4 for the Jets in the third period. But as Paula Mitchell mentioned, it was just clock management pretty much all the way for that final 20 minutes for the Blues. We mentioned the power plays. Winnipeg 2 for 6. St. Louis 0 for 6. The Jets now 4 for 20 in the series, and the Blues are now 6 for 25. The scoring summary for Green Drop, Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com. And the 3 stars, as you can well mention, expect though, a St. Louis sweep. The 3 stars are for Shine Dental. Don't miss out on life's appetizing offerings because of ill-fitting dentures. Get set right with shinedental.ca. Philip Broberg, Alexei Toropchenko, and Cam Fowler, the 3 stars. And Paul and Mitchell, I know you guys have to get going, so all I can ask, Paul, is you have called every playoff game that Connor Hellebuck has been a part of. Can you believe what you have seen with your eyes in this series?
No, it reminds me of that series with Nashville a few years back in 17-18, and Winnipeg was the benefactor of that. But at the same time, I'll still tell you that I like the way Connor Hellebuck bounced back for game number 5, and he'll have to for game number 7 because Winnipeg will need him, and there's no way that you're deviating from him. I would tell you, though, the only goal that I didn't like that was given up of the 5 by Connor Hellebuck was the one that Braden Shen scored. The other ones, once again, Winnipeg did not protect their goal line. They didn't box out. There was some deflections and some shots that he did not see from the point. So from that standpoint, I think the staff in front of him need to be better. And again, the rallying cry will be that everybody has to be better. That's what they talked about. That's what they delivered going into game number 5. And they'll need to do it for game 6 on Sunday as well. Carbon copy that from Wednesday night into Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too, Mitchell. Of course, something that will follow. I don't know when we'll ever get information on it, but perhaps Mark Scheifele might be able to re-enter the series, but we won't know that until probably the pregame warm-up on Sunday.
Yeah, I would imagine. And, Mark Scheifele probably doing everything he can to try to be ready to go. And, yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about, the boost that Gabriel Velarde gave the squad when he came into the lineup in Game 5. Nikolai Ehlers, I thought, was, considering I would imagine his legs were probably burning by the end of the game just because he hasn't been, regularly in the lineup the last couple of weeks of the regular season, really. So, I mean, he doesn't have that cardiovascular endurance built up, but he played a bunch tonight at 15:23, and I think that was a boost too. It's tough to adjust when you don't have your number one center. Vlad Nemestikov did everything that he could in this game, and we'll see what happens if Mark Scheifele is available. But if he isn't for Game 7, it'll probably look very similar to what we saw tonight for the Winnipeg Jets lineup. They just all know that they'll have to find a way to be better in that game and find a way to win it on home ice.
Yeah, well, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, before we wrap up, I wanted to remind everybody about tickets going on sale tomorrow, but just get your last comment in, and we'll try to assess that, and then we'll give the announcement of tickets.
No, I was just going to wish you guys a safe trip home, so go for it.
Yeah, Game 7 Street Party and Party in the Plaza tickets on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Fans can still get last-minute game tickets as they are released over the coming days, right up until puck drop. Text playoffs at 1-888-606-JETS. That's 5387 to sign up for alerts. So, again, Whiteout Party and Plaza Party tickets on sale at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Kelly.
Great. Okay, you guys have a good trip home, and we will talk to you on Sunday. The first ever Game 7 of an NHL playoff in Winnipeg. They have had 7th of deciding games on the road in Nashville in the 1.0 era. They had a Game 7 in Edmonton in 1990. I think in 88 it was Game 7 in Vancouver, but never one in downtown Winnipeg. So it's going to be exciting. Yes, was tonight disappointing? Absolutely it was, and we'll not sugarcoat it, but the Winnipeg Jets were able to earn themselves home ice advantage throughout the playoffs, and they will try to certainly use that to their positive effect on Sunday night. All right, just waiting for Scott Arniel to come to the podium, so I'll bring in the coach, John Rempel, here. John, I may have to interrupt you. I'm not sure how quickly Scott's going to want to get to the podium, but I know the team wants to fly out tonight to get back home from St. Louis at a reasonable hour. But just quickly, that second period collapse, it continues on the road for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, Kelly, I mean, it's in some ways it's kind of baffling to me. I'm still kind of trying to digest sort of the sequence of events, how they unfolded. Just, again, surprised and kind of shocked by the suddenness of how things turned in all three of those games on the road, to be frank. The way some of the plays went down, and there's one thing that I sort of have kind of gleaned out of it, and that is the lack of, again, the Jets' ability to defend middle ice, which is something that they have been so consistently good at, and making it so hard on teams to get in scoring areas.
Okay, John, hold that thought, John. We now have Scott Arniel speaking.
3 minutes and terrible line change. Give up a chance. Next time out, we throw the puck to their goaltender right into his glove. Make another line change. We're racing back on both those, trying to get coverage. And then the third one was just us coverage. We had a couple guys, 3 guys caught behind the goal line. So, we shot ourselves in the foot. Just did, again, some uncharacteristic things in moments, and the momentum swung. Where we were playing a really strong game, it just swung, and just like Game 4. And so, you know what? You hope you learn from it the first time, but obviously happen again, move on. So, you know what? Like I said to you guys before, after game 4, you know what? The damage is done. We got to go home. Go go take care of our business at home.
The Blues were talking coming into this game about their...
I don't care what the Blues talk about. This is Winnipeg Jets. We have a style of play that we have to play. We got to it for about 30 minutes, and we dropped off big time.
Just going to set up the question.
Sorry.
The Blues, we're talking about how their lack of ability to play 60 minutes last game caught up with them. So for people watching this series from a coach's perspective, give us an idea how small the margin of error is in a series like this.
That's playoff hockey. It's every play matters. Every moment matters. Momentum isn't between days. Momentum happens in the middle of a game. And for us, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Blues. For us, when we play close to complete games, we're a tough team to beat. And we've done it 3 times in this series. We're going to have to do it 4.
Scott, you obviously wrestled with it because you called your timeout on the goal there and the Buchnevich. Was it just maybe take us through that process? And was it more to do with what the score was and when you were at the game?
No, I mean, it was still early in the game. I got lots of confidence in our penalty kill. It just, Buchnevich went in, and then Sammy gave him a shove. And I called the timeout because we weren't 100% sure, and then we decided that it had more to do with Sammy pushing him than it did, him making first contact with Helly.
One more, guys.
Connor Hellebuck, Hart Trophy finalist. What's the story here?
One game showdown. That's what it is. Our whole group, not just Connor. This isn't about Connor. Tonight was not about Connor. Tonight we imploded in front of him, and so now it's a one-game showdown. It's our goalie against their goalie. It's like I mentioned to you guys, it's getting repetitive. It's our best players against their best players, and it's our grinders going against theirs. It's specialty teams. It's D-zone coverage. It's what we do as a group. It's getting to Jet hockey here, getting back to it again, and you know what? I have a lot of confidence in our group. Not just Helly. I have a lot of confidence in our group. You win one hockey game, you move on to the next round. Thank you.
There is Scott Arniel from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, and he's showing his combative side, which was what helped him be a professional hockey player for all those years and what has made him a damn fine coach. But while he doesn't want to talk about Connor Hellebuck, John Rempel, we will be for sure. Just before we go to break, or no, we're not going to go to break. We're going to wait for the arrival of Jim Montgomery. If it's Jim Montgomery first, we'll pick him up. If it's the players first, then I think we'll just abandon the process and certainly hear what Coach Montgomery has to say going into Game 7. But John Rempel, just in terms of what you were talking about before Scott Arniel came on the air with the Winnipeg Jets and that collapse that must have them all scratching their heads, but at the same time want to go and kick a garbage can right across a football field.
Yeah, and I mean, as I was when Coach was speaking there, and a couple of things that I had written down was, I had the words self-inflicted written down because the line change, he's bang on the line change on the second goal that allowed Philip Broberg space. 2 guys changed, and the puck was in the neutral zone and not contained. And then again, that dump in by Neil Pionk right on Binnington instead of a soft dump in the corner, which they've been talking about, not allowing him. He didn't move the puck up the ice, but he gloved it, put it down very quickly, got it to his defenseman, and then it was a quick pass into the neutral zone, chip to Schenn. And again, those are things, and again, he's exactly right. The little details matter. It's I guess the part that I'm baffled about a little bit, Kelly, is just, and I know St. Louis is a very good team, and I'm not taking anything away from the Blues. They've earned everything that they've gotten. They're extremely tough to play, obviously, on home ice in the last 2 months in particular. But again, the margin for error is so slim, and when those little details start to slide, you can get burned, especially by a team that can score like that on home ice.
Yeah, depending on how Game 7 goes, St. Louis will either end the season having won 15 in a row on home ice, or they'll have a chance to continue that on into round 2. And, of course, they'll have to do something Christian O'Mell, host of the CJOB Sports Show, who joins us now as we wait for the arrival of Jim Montgomery. I believe that's the batting order that it's been, the two coaches, then two players from the winning team. But now it's up to the St. Louis Blues to try and do something they haven't been able to do in this series. But also, you wonder at what point does the Winnipeg Jets' superiority on home ice maybe come into a bit of a question.
Right. The old saying of a series doesn't begin till the home team loses, whatever that is. I mean, it to some degree it's true, right? Because that's when the tension begins. All of a sudden, that uproots. When you're watching a tennis match, someone has to break serve, but now you're in a tiebreaker after Milos Raonic and John Isner held serve 6 times each, and now what happens, right? You're into where one little thing might be the difference. And so the Jets, yes, they have home ice. They've fought all year to be able to have home ice, but you have to now take advantage of that. And I have confidence to some degree that they can do it because we've seen it in 3 games now where they have been able.
Christian, hold that thought. Jim Montgomery is now speaking.
I think we utilized our speed and our physicality. I thought we were able to be physical down low. I thought we were able to skate with some speed through the neutral zone. And I thought that we were really committed to getting to the net front again. We had those first couple of goals, they're really good screen goals, and Faxaline was dominant tonight.
That's what I was going to get to. You've talked so much about the good play they give you in all the little areas, but the way they've been providing offense here lately, is that just a reward for their hard work?
Well, in a series, there's the game within the game of a series, and they're a load to handle. It doesn't matter. They've scored goals against every D pairing, so they're hard to handle down low, and over it gets hard. And they're creating that identity that we look for that allows us to get to net fronts, to win races, and to get screen goals.
Jim, how do you bottle up what you've done at home here and do it in Game 7 on the road?
By not even focusing on that. We're on to the next game. Just like we lose Game 5, we're on to the next game. We got to continue to improve throughout the series and bring that attitude that we need to have of trying to create chaos at their net front, trying to create chaos with our speed and our physicality.
And a quick follow-up. What, as a coach, makes it so comforting to have Jordan Binnington as your goalie for a Game 7?
The 2 words that come to mind right away is how calm he is and his proven winner. He's done it. He's been there. He knows how to not only get himself in the right zone, but also how to give confidence to his team in front of him.
The significance of the Broberg goal. Winnipeg came out and maybe had a little bit better of it early on, and then you get that goal to go ahead. How important was that?
It was really important. I thought it was a great play by Falk to drive wide, and that's that speed we're talking about. And then we had people drive through, and we're able to go low to high and pound that puck. It was really important because I did not like the start of our first 8 to 10 minutes, and then we started to come after that goal.
It looked like after that penalty kill later on in the period, I think it really got flowing after that.
Well, our penalty kill's been really good throughout the series, and it's given us momentum. I just think us playing north and winning goal line races, especially at their net, really was important for us to establish our ozone time.
And then Nathan Walker having 3 goals in the last 2 games. Not obviously someone you count on, but when you get that scoring, you got 2 defenseman goals and 2 fourth line goals. The kind of scoring you like to see from other places.
Yeah, that's just NHL playoffs, right? There's so many unsung heroes, and we know how important Nathan Walker's been. I think he's a fan favorite because he embodies what it means to be a Blue, and that's why he's a fan favorite. And then the other part of your comment/question is our defensemen. they get skating and we just start to go north and we really start to come, and it really allows us to be physical.
You mentioned the defenseman, Cam Fowler specifically. Obviously, he's had a historic series from the offensive perspective, but just what has he been able to bring to the team, not just from the offensive facets, but also defensively to the team overall game?
Yeah, incredibly cerebral. He's a player when, you try and change things that you do, he goes out and implements it right away. Just because that's how intelligent he is. And it's really underrated how competitive he is. Did not know that when you coach against him, but once you get him in your own locker room and you get to see the eyes and you see the intensity in his eyes and you couple that with the calmness and poise to make the plays he makes at both ends of the ice, it's pretty impressive.
Monty, when you talk about going north, what do you feel like is going to be the key for you guys to be able to do that in that building? Because it seems like there's been a big difference between your ability to do that here and then in Winnipeg.
It's about seizing an opportunity for us. You're in Game 7 of playoffs. It's what we've all dreamed of that are, in that organization, in that locker room together. These are the moments you don't think about winning Game 1 when you're playing in your basement or you're playing street hockey or you're playing knee hockey with your best friend or brother, whatever the case may be. It's Game 7, it's overtime. And it's about us seizing an opportunity. It's an opportunity that we've earned, and now we got to go seize it.
Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues from the Enterprise Center, and that'll be wrapping up our live reaction coverage. We'll hear from Cole Perfetti as well as Nikolai Ehlers. So, Christian O'Malley, if you remember what you were talking about, and I think we were discussing the disparity between the Jets' home and away, but as Jim Montgomery just mentioned there, it is a one-game winner-takes-all showdown, and there is no room for error in this one.
Absolutely not. And it's going to be super nervous in that building, I think, on Sunday. And I thought it was going to be in Game 5, and the Jets scored, never trailed in that game. But if they do fall behind in Sunday's game, I'm going to be interested to see how that building feels and if the team is affected by that feeling. I made this point on Twitter. It's not an exact parallel, but the 2011 Stanley Cup Final, it kind of reminded me of, because Vancouver in that series was so good defensively at home, barely gave up any goals in games 1, 2, and 5, and Luongo was awesome. And then they'd go into Boston and just forget how to play hockey. And they got their doors blown off in games 3, 4, and 6. Luongo got pulled in 2 of them. And then what happened in Game 7? They come home, they don't score, they lose 4-0. And I'm not saying Winnipeg's going to riot on Sunday night, but I'm saying that you're trying. Anything can happen, right? Trends of